do you want to tell her that you'll see her? Or?
Yes, I'll be right outside and see.
Okay. So, ma'am, your son's attorney is going to come and talk to you in just a second. Okay.
Señora, en pocos momentos el abogado de su hijo irá a hablar con usted.
Okay.
Your Honor, may the interpreter please have the case number?
Yes, I knew I didn't give that to you. I thought I did. It's 2022 CF 7547AO.
Thank you so much. Have a
And
nice day,
that's
Your Honor.
everything for today. Thank you, Laura. Have a wonderful weekend.
Likewise.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I may send an email out because my guess is that because we have newer judges that aren't quite familiar with things, because I'm seeing this on a lot of cases where they just, no bond, no bond, no bond. So, hi.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. And what is your name,
Paul
sir?
Giordano for Pablo Rugal.
Okay.
Here on the second, was arrested on a simple battery. Bond was set at 500. Second count was battery with a weapon. There's a no bond on that. We're here to set a bond. Briefly, the incident took place at Mr. Rugal's business. He owns a trucking company in Orlando. He has a license to carry. He has been a resident of Central Florida for 20 years, has owned a business for 10 years. A truck pulled into, according to the arrest affidavit, which is the only document that we have, a truck pulled into his business. He saw the truck coming, started waving his hands for the truck to stop. According to the affidavit, the defendant number 2, who was the truck driver, got out of the vehicle. And from my perspective, he was the initiator of the confrontation. I think we have defenses of self-defense, stand your ground, a whole bunch of other defenses that we'll be able to raise. And the long and the short is that Mr. Rugal suffered a cut on the side of his face from the truck driver. Mr. Rugal had the gun at the side of his hip, was struck by the truck driver, whose only name we have is Juan, swung the gun around, hit him with the barrel of the gun, I'm sorry, with the end of the gun, not the barrel, the butt of the gun, and that was the end of the confrontation. The truck driver was not there to pick up anything, to drop anything off, and from the beginning, the truck driver was told not to enter the property.
Okay. Does the state wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a case when I think probable cause clearly means pretty close. So I don't think it's the strongest case in the world. Your client does not have any prior criminal history. So why don't I go ahead, I'll set his bond at $2,000 on count 1. I'll keep the $500 on count 2. Sir, I'm just gonna ask that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. I can't imagine that you would. I don't see, hopefully you guys wouldn't have anything to do with each other anymore, but then you're good from there. And then I would assume, I assume they took the gun from him, so yeah, okay. Okay, you're set. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Are you Jimmy Antonio Hadley?
Yes.
And were you born on March 2nd of 1987?
Yes.
Sir, you're here on 2023 CF 488AO. Okay, I did review, let me ask you a question, Mr. Hadley. Did you want the Public Defender's Office to represent you? You're gonna hire your own?
I'm representing myself.
You're gonna represent
I've
yourself?
served as Prestige Gates Naval West Warren family at HAC, HBC, HCC, HDC, Mad Nice War Dud Courthouse. My case is ZFFZ BP PB Starboat Tub Rats. Sam Garrett, Grand Garrett.
Your Honor, there's been,
Plus, minus.
Okay, well, Mr. Hadley, hold on, let me just go ahead. I don't have a problem with you representing yourself, but why don't I do this? Since you are incarcerated for right now, why don't I go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office
I
to
don't need them.
represent you?
I don't need them.
Okay, well, as soon as you get out of jail.
Flushwood,
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and,
Dow,
qualify for PTO.
I mean, Flushwood,
I'll keep the bond set at $1,000 and hopefully you'll be able to bond out of jail.
No return, Your Honor.
No, oh, no return, yeah.
Flushwood,
take 'em out.
Flushwood Aqua Fresh.
Go ahead.
Your Honor has dismissed you. She said you're good. You're good.
I only sprayed, the thing is, I'm not charged with nothing. That's not a charge.
Okay.
Basically spraying a fire extinguisher at BP, because they smoke a lot. That's
Okay.
not a charge.
Okay,
And, Your Honor, I am gonna ask that you, appoint, if you look at the face sheet, he's been deemed mentally unstable to stand trial.
oh, no, I went ahead and.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure you did.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna follow the list as they're gonna move up. I have a couple of, Ms. Frank was next.
Uh-huh,
She refused her appearance.
she's refusing. So let me go ahead in 2023 MM 275AO, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office. Are you willing to waive her appearance or do you want me to?
I would ask that you reset till tomorrow, Your Honor. I'm gonna be here anyway.
You'll be
There's an offer, to resolve it.
Saturday.
I know. Yeah, I'm here. Just wipe that face off. But yes, I will be here. I'm gonna see if she wants to resolve it. There's an offer to resolve the case.
Okay. I'll
And if
roll
not,
this
I'll waive.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
And then the next case I had was Malcolm Xavier Cooper.
Yes, Your Honor, he's currently on mental health status.
Okay, so in 2023 MM 300AO, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office.
I will waive. There's no offer.
We'll waive his appearance and get him to stay the bonds at 100 on count 1, 500 on count 2, and no return.
And Your Honor, on Mr. Cooper, there was a first appearance detainer added. He is out on ROR in case number 2023 MM 000209 AO. It's for a petty theft. Want to take any action on that?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and revoke his bond on that, and the bond will be set at none. Did you- Okay. The next case I had was Xavier Kegler.
Your Honor, he refused his appearance.
Okay.
I will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, so in 2023 MM 27480 on the charge of battery, I'm finding probable cause, appoint the Public Defender's Office. They are willing to waive his appearance. I'll keep the bond set at none, and he's to not have any contact with the alleged victim.
Your Honor, I have the bond at $500.
What did I say?
None.
None.
Sorry. At $500, it will remain. Sorry. Thank you.
And no contact with the
And
victim?
then no contact with the victim. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and you are Juan Ramon Guzman Dino? And sir, were you born on February 1st of 2000?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, I do show that you're here on case number 2023 MM 280AO. I am going to go ahead and find that there is probable cause on this case. I will keep the bond stayed at $500. You are to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. Okay, thank you. And I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office if I didn't say that.
Is this a new charge?
It is a new charge, yes, sir. The next case I had was Paul Richard Paxton.
Yes, Your Honor, that Paxton is currently on medical status, and I'm here to report.
Okay,
Mm,
you want me
Paxton.
to waive that one,
Is-
or?
There's an offer.
I will ask that you reset for tomorrow. There's an offer to resolve his case. Your Honor, I believe he doesn't have any competency issues.
Okay, so on 2023 MM302AO, I will go ahead and stay the bond at $500, but we'll reset it to tomorrow. Then this should be Tyrone DuPont. Are you Mr. DuPont? Yes? Okay. And were you born on September 25th of 1996? Okay. I remember this one. Okay. So, Mr. DuPont, you are here on case number 2023 MO73AO. This is a charge of state misdemeanors and trespass. I am finding that there's probable cause. I'll keep the bond set at $250 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. I am going to order that you not return back to that Wawa on Millennia Boulevard. Now, my concern is that you are currently out on bond in case number 2022 MO1258AO. I do know that, I think this is actually in my division.
It is,
that
Your
They filed the motion for you to get out of jail on the 10th, and I signed it, and you got out on the 10th, and here we are almost immediately. So I know that they were gonna have Dr. Arias looking for you. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for the doctor to find you, so I am gonna revoke the bond on that case. But I'm sure Ms. Altwam will get with me on Monday or Tuesday if that becomes an issue. Okay? Thank you. Dwight Swarm?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, good afternoon, sir. Is your date of birth February 2nd of 1984?
Yes.
Okay.
Pen, please.
So this is case number 2023 MO77AO. It's a charge of disorderly conduct. Was there an offer on this one?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. Mr. Swarm would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest. And in exchange for resolving the case, I'd ask that you take no action on the out on bond.
Okay. Mr. Sworn, I have your plea form here that you had signed. Did you have any questions about the rights on the form?
No.
And she says you're gonna enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No.
And you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation.
Yes.
Sir, in case number 2023 MO77AO, I will accept your plea of no contest. I'll adjudicate you guilty. I'll give you credit for the 2 days that you've now served here in the Orange County Jail. I'll release you from this charge and this charge only. There will be court costs, which I'll give you a year to pay back. And then I will take no action on the case that you are currently out on bond for, so you should be able to get out today, okay?
All right, thank you.
Good luck to you, sir, thank you. I have Jermaine Hamilton,
For the medical reasons, Your Honor, he's not here.
okay. You wanna waive
I will
his?
waive, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so in 2023 CF485AO on Mr. Hamilton's case, I am finding probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office. We'll go ahead and stay the bond at $1,000. And I'm hoping that this is Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Anderson, your date of birth is April 13th of 1985?
Yes.
Are we going to try to do anything with these cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The offer from the state to resolve the new law violation in 2023 MM299AO is a withhold of adjudication, credit time served, and court costs. Mr. Anderson would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest, and in exchange, we would ask that you take no action on his out on bond.
Okay. Mr. Anderson, I do have the plea form that your attorney handed me and that you signed. Did you have any questions about any of the rights that are on the plea form?
No, ma'am.
And she says you would like to enter a plea of no contest. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to do that here today?
No, ma'am.
Sir, do you also understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, as it relates to 2023 MM299AO, I will go ahead and accept your pleas of no contest. I will withhold adjudication, sentencing you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for those 2 days that you've previously served. I'll go ahead and assess court costs for that. The court costs, I'll give you a year to pay back. Because you are resolving the new law violation, I will take no action on the case that you're currently out on bond for. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher James Farrell. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Farrell. Is your date of birth December 2nd of 1991?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So it looks like you're here on a trespass charge. Were we going to try to resolve this today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah?
The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, no return to 1200 Research Parkway. And Mr. Farrell would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, Mr. Farrell, I am being handed the plea form that you signed. Did you have any questions about any of the rights that are on the form?
Your Honor.
And she's indicated you're entering a plea of no contest. Has anybody forced you or threatened you to do that here today?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea could subject you to deportation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at this time, I'll go ahead and accept your plea in 2023 MM10AE. I'll adjudicate you guilty. We'll sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days you've served. I'll release you from this charge and this charge only. I'm going to order that you not return back to that location at 12,000 Research Parkway in Orlando, and I will assess court costs, which I'll give you a year to pay back. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set. Thank you, sir. Kurt Hollahan?
Your Honor, he bonded, Hollahan bonded.
Okay. Jaheim McClank?
Your Honor, he also bonded.
Jason Matthew Neal? Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Neal. Is your date of birth August 26th of 1983?
Yeah.
Okay. You're here on 2023 MM293AO. It is a charge of trespass. Were we going to resolve it today?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state was an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2, and no return to 83 East Colonial Drive. And Mr. Neal would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Neal, I'm going to be handed your plea form that you had signed. Did you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No.
And sir, did you, she's indicated you'd like to enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Sir, I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty. I'll sentence you to 5 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you've previously served. I am going to order that you not return back to 82 East Colonial Drive. And I will assess court costs, but I'll give you a year to pay that back. Do you have any questions? Okay, you're all set, sir. Thank you. Tevin Talbert?
Yes, Your Honor, he's currently on mental health status.
Okay.
I will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, in 2023 MM296AO, I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office. They are going to waive his appearance. I am finding probable cause. I will keep the bond set at $500 in order that he not return back to that location. And he's all set. Okay, this would be Carl Bernard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Is your date of birth March 17th of 1958?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You are here on 2023 MO71AO. It's a charge of disorderly conduct. Were we going to try to resolve it today?
There's an offer to resolve, Your Honor. However, he has no criminal history. I was gonna see if he may qualify for a pretrial diversion program. I would ask for ROR. He has the community ties, no failures to appear.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Does he have a phone?
There's a bond of $250 currently in place.
He gave us a number.
Yeah, okay.
He has one.
So I would ask for an ROR, Your Honor.
Any objection from the state?
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so, Mr. Bernard, I'm going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Please make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. If you fail to appear at any of your court dates, they'll revoke the ROR and they'll issue a capias of $2,000, which is way higher than we would ever have done. So, do you have a cell phone?
I do.
Okay, there's a thing that they have with the clerk's office where you can put in your case number and it'll send you texts to remind you. But also keep in mind, if you stay in contact with your attorney, they can waive certain appearances for you, so you don't have to come back every time, but just make sure you stay with them, okay? Okay, the next case I had was Jasper Burdette.
Yes, Your Honor. He bonded.
He bonded.
Nope, because we're gonna keep it off, so go ahead and call.
About Walter Latimer. He's here, okay. Okay, Mr. Latimer. Good afternoon, sir. Were you born on January 22nd of 1968?
I was.
Okay, you're here on case number 2023 MO74AO. It's a charge of disorderly conduct. Are we going to resolve this today?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs. Mr. Latimer would like to accept and proceed. No problem.
Okay, so. Mr. Latimer, I'm being handed your plea form. Did you have any questions about any of the rights that are on the form?
No, ma'am.
And she's indicated you'd like to enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No, Your Honor.
And sir, do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation?
I do.
Okay, so I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty. I'll sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you previously served. I am going to impose court costs, but I'll give you a year to pay that money back. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're all set. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Clark Marcellus. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Marcellus. Is your date of birth April 6th of 1958?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're here on 2023 MO75AO, a charge of disorderly conduct. We're going to enter a plea.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer is an adjudication of guilt and credit time served and court costs. He would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
So, Mr. Marcellus, I've been handed the plea form that you signed. Any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
And she says you're entering a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No, ma'am.
And finally, sir, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation. So I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty. I'll sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you've previously served. I'll go ahead and release you from this charge and this.
From the state is an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2, and no return to 455 Garland Avenue. You said the case number was 23 MO,
76AO.
and he would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Simpson, I'm handed your plea form that you signed. Did you have any questions about the rights on the form?
No.
And she's indicated you'd like to enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I'll go ahead and accept that plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentencing you to 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you've previously served. I am going to also order that you not return back to that location at 455 North Garland Avenue and impose court cost, and I'll give you a year to pay that money back. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, you're all set, sir. Good luck to you. Thank you. The next case I have is, who is this? Alan James Kane. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Is your date of birth May 5th of 1989?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, you're here on case number 2023. Well, hold on. It doesn't have a case number yet, right? Okay, so it doesn't have a case number yet, but it is a charge of leaving the scene. It is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Jordan. He determined there was probable cause. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. He has set your bond at $2,500.
Okay, can you lower it? Any?
Can I lower it? I'm not inclined to. Jordan was a county judge before circuit, so he knows the bond pretty well. Okay, thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Okay, Travis Martin,
Bonded, Your Honor.
bonded. Robert Charles Schmidt. Okay. Whoops, sorry. I think that one came from here. Sorry. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Schmidt. Your date of birth is October 20th of 1971?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a driving while license suspended or revoked charge in 2022 CT 1253AE. He does have a bond of $2,000.
Doesn't matter, it's a mandatory 5-year suspension.
Mr. Schmidt, were you wanting to try to resolve the case today, or did you want to just bond out and try to?
He can't afford the bond, Your Honor. He would like to, the state's making an offer of a withhold credit time served, and he would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. You have something.
Okay. So, Mr. Schmidt, I'm not showing anything on your driving record that should cause you any problems with getting your license back in the future. You know, like this isn't going to trigger a 5-year suspension or anything like that. So the only thing would be just you trying to work on getting your license back.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop, don't.
Okay, okay. Knowing all of that, let me ask you a question. You want to resolve the case today?
Yes.
Okay. So I do have the plea form that you signed. You, did you have any questions about any of the rights that are on the plea form?
I didn't see.
So the plea form has all the rights that you would be giving up to enter a
Oh.
plea today. Are you okay
Now-
waiving
now
those?
I understand. Your-
Okay,
yes,
no
ma'am.
worries. And she says you're gonna enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that today?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, entering into a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I am a U.S.
And then how many days do you have him total? Just the 2 for this one?
I don't know, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay,
The clerk might.
I'll just give them the 2 from today. That should cover it. So I'll do a withhold of adjudication. I'm gonna sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you previously served. I'll go ahead and release you from this charge and this charge only. Their court costs, I'll give you a year to pay those court costs back, okay? The court costs are $301.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna assume Javier Alvarez.
Bonded, Your Honor.
Bonded. So this would be Ryan David Beamer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me just get a little situated. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Beamer, I just want to verify your date of birth is November 10th of 1990, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're here on case number 2023 CF 522AO. You do have, the charges are trafficking in methamphetamines, greater than 14 grams with a weapon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed weapon by a convicted felon, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on those charges. I will go ahead and stay the bonds on count 1 at the $100,000, and then counts 2, 3, and 4 will remain at $150, and count 5 will be at $100. I do have some concerns with the fact that you are currently out on bond on case number 2022 CF 10865AO. That's in Division 17. I do realize that's a September arrest and they've not filed on the charges. My guess, though, is because they're very similar charges to this one that include drug charges. And so with the backup with FDLE, that's why we're doing that. So based on that, though, I am going to go ahead and revoke the bond in that case. And I will make sure that your public defender is aware of that so that they can try to get you a bond hearing in front of Judge Brownlee as soon as possible. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Hi, Rose Brooks. Good afternoon. Is your date of birth August 2nd of 1987?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is a case number 2019 CF 270AO. This is a capias that was issued in Division 23 for a failure to appear at a status hearing back in September of 2022. She already has the PD. You already have the Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you. The capias on this was listed at none, so I do have to keep the bond set at none, but I'm sure your attorney will get you back in front of that trial judge to see what we can do on that. Okay? Good luck to you. Thank you. Tyler Bryant? Is that you, sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And, sir, is your date of birth December 30th of 1995?
Yes.
Okay. So you are here on case number 2023 CF 516AO. It's a charge of possession of cannabis. I am going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
It's cocaine.
Kane, Your Honor.
Cocaine.
Oh, cannabis, sorry. It's cocaine. I apologize. I do know the difference. That being said, I know that you're currently out on bond in 2022 CF 1074. It's an Osceola County case, and of course, I don't have access to an Osceola County computer. Yeah, don't ask me why. So I don't.
Filed on, pretrial is set for January 18th, so next week.
Do you have any objections if I just take no action then?
No objection.
Okay. So what I'll do, sir, is you obviously realize because you're out on bond, I could technically revoke that bond and hold you on a no bond status. But since the charges aren't necessarily related, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but please don't get arrested anymore until you try to resolve these cases. I'll go ahead and I'm gonna keep the bond set at $1,000 on the new charge, and then that should allow you to bond out. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Daryl Earl Burks. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Burks. Is your date of birth June 10th of 1987? Okay. Sir, you're here on case number 2023 CF 536AO. I am going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. I will go ahead and keep the bond stayed at, I'm going to drop it a little bit. On count 1, I'll drop the bond to $150 on the possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. I'll do count 2 will remain at $15,000. Count 3, the possession of oxycodone, I'll reduce to $150. Count 4, possession of drug paraphernalia, I'll keep at $100. Oh, I'm sorry. Count 5, I will keep at $50,000. I apologize. I was going to change count 2 instead of keeping it at $15,000. I'll keep it at $5,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay? And I did appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you're all set. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. And sir, this is Takeem Camacho?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you born on July 29th of 1996?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's do this way. The first case I have is 2023 CF 538AO. I have reviewed the charge. I am finding probable cause. We'll go ahead and keep the bond set at $3,500 on the burglary of a structure. I'll keep the bond set at $250 on count 2, the petty theft. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. And then on the 2023 MM301AO, I'll reduce that bond down to $100. And you are all set.
Your Honor, with regard to the burglary, can I ask for a no return and no contact, please?
Yes. And Mr. Camacho, just make sure no return to that location and no contact with the alleged victim in that case, okay? Thank you. Verde Destinobles. Did I say your name right?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, were you born on August 5th of 1984?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a couple, I actually have 3 cases on this one. Okay, let's go with 2023 CF 527AO. That's out of Division 20. It's a possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office and keep the bond stayed at $1,000. In case number 2022 CF 13807AO, this is based on an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Young. He set the bond at count 1, $3,500, count 2, $500, count 3, $500, for a total of $4,500. That's in Division 14. I'll also appoint the Public Defender's Office. Then I also have case number 2022 CF 13808AO. That's out of Division 11. That is an arrest warrant signed by Judge Karsten for a fleeing and attempting to elude. And I'll go ahead and set your bond at $2,000 and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Okay, Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Your Honor, with regard to 22 CF 13807, were there any conditions, like no return, no contact? It's a theft offense.
I don't, hold on, sometimes they put it, no. There's nothing on the arrest warrant sheet. I can certainly add that he should not go back to that location. I can't imagine you'd want to go back there anyway, but just no return, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Brianna Edwards? Okay, good afternoon, Miss Edwards. Your date of birth is September 25th of 1993?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this looks like a warrant was issued out of 2021 CF 8445AO when you failed to appear for a case management conference. The judge in that division, Division 10, set your bond at $1,000. She has the PD. And the PD's already been represented to, appointed to represent you, okay? Good luck, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, is this Mr. Elliott?
It is not, Your Honor. He refused his appearance today.
Okay, on Mr. Elliott's case. Oh, well. On 2023 CF 507AO, this is out of Division 22. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. The first charge is first-degree murder. The bond is set at none and will remain at none. Count 2, robbery with a firearm while wearing a mask. I don't think he's entitled to a bond on count 2.
No, Your Honor.
Count 3, commit robbery with the firearm mask, the no bond. I'll keep the bond set at none on that one, and count 4 will remain at $4,000. Okay, and we'll waive his appearance.
3 is life?
Conspiracy. Your Honor, I would, understanding that he said it, no bond, I would still ask for a no return and definitely no contact with the co-defendant.
Yes. You're gonna have to help me out with the name of the co-defendant, because I don't have any.
It is
You
something
know?
similar, but I think,
I can just put no contact with the co-defendant,
thank you.
and no return to that location.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And are you Alan, is it Gislicki?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and sir, were you born on April 19th of 1991?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, you're here on 2021 CF 15320AO. This is a probable cause order.
And Your Honor, they set bond on count 1 as PTR, but we can't supervise that charge for the admin order. So we would just ask PTR be stricken and then bond set on that charge.
Okay. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, Mr. Gislicki, on the charges. Does the state have any objection to me?
Setting bond? No, please do.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set the bond at $5,000 on count 1 and $1,000 on count 2. I am gonna ask that you have no contact with the alleged victims in this case, and we have appointed the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
We don't have a court date yet.
So the hold is off the first one, right?
Who?
They said that I had a PT.
Oh, because you don't qualify, so she set a bond, so you should be able to bond.
I saw a bond.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next I have Kelly Brian Grissom. Okay, good afternoon, sir. Mr. Grissom, were you born on January 21st of 1988? Okay. You are here on case number 2021 CF 4013AO. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Latimer. She determined probable cause on this case. She has set your bond at $1,500 on count one, $2,500 on count two, $150 on count three, $150 on count four. This is assigned to Division 20, and I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Deirdre Haney? Hey, good afternoon, Miss Haney. Were you born on November 24th of 1986?
Correct.
Miss Haney, you're here on case number 2023 CF 524AO. Okay. Sorry. I am finding that there's probable cause for the charges. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This is out of Division 10. I am going to keep the bond stayed at $15,000 on count one for the possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. I am going to reduce the bond to $100 on the possession of cannabis less than 250 grams, and I'll drop the bond down to $100 on count three, the possession of drug paraphernalia. Good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you. Isaac Harris?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask with Mr. Harris, he's hearing impaired, but he can read it and he can hear. You can talk directly.
Yeah.
That's the stand. I don't know, but you still have a week. It's out of county there. They should come and serve you.
Does Harris already have the PD on the FTA? Not that you show. Okay, good afternoon. You are Isaac Harris, and were you born on December 2nd? Okay, so I have three cases. Let's start with the first one. It's 2022 CF 7013AO. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Calderon, and he set your bond at $1,000, $100, and $100 for a total of $1,200. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Then the second case is 2021 CF 15389AO. This is a warrant when you failed to appear in April of 2022. The judge in that case put the bond at $0. So you do have the public defender, so they're gonna need to try to get you back in front of that judge to change that bond. But then the third case is 2023 CF 531AO, a charge of possession of cocaine, and I'll keep the bond stayed at $1,000, and we'll appoint the public defender. Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chantal Jackson?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jackson. Were you born on July 22nd in 1991?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is case number 2023 CF 258AO. It is a charge for a probable cause order. I don't. Why are these judges doing this?
Tell me about it.
Your Honor, she qualifies for PTR. I would ask for pretrial release in this case.
I will be honest with the state, I didn't read it because I just saw it was a probable cause order. So do you have any objection?
No, Your Honor. I don't believe she has any history, so no.
Okay,
Well, actually, she does, but no, I still don't have any, wow.
okay. So Ms. Jackson, what we'll do is, we're gonna go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Instead of keeping your bond at none, we're actually gonna allow you to get released on pretrial release. That way you don't have to pay any money to get out on bond, but you'll just be supervised by pretrial services. And you should be able, yep, yeah, you should be able to get out in, probably a couple hours, just when they process you.
And Your Honor, do you want any conditions with that PTR?
No contact, Your Honor.
There's already a thing on here that says no contact with the alleged victim and do not possess any firearms or weapons. Okay,
I don't know who the victim is, so I can't stay away. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I don't blame you.
According to this, it's, and I've just only started reading, it is LaShonda Kellum, Kellom.
Hopefully that won't be an issue for you. Okay, good luck, ma'am. Thank you. You too. Brad Edward Johnson.
Hi, Your Honor.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. Were you born on November 13th of 1983?
I was.
Okay. So you're here on case number 2023 CF 521AO. This is out of Division 15. I am going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and I will stay the bonds at $1,000 on the possession of cocaine and $100 on the possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck, sir. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Are you Ronald William Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you born on May 14th of 1987?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I will waive, Your Honor.
okay. In case number 2023 CF 520AO, this is out of Division 11. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Oops, okay, hold on. On that one, I did review the charging affidavit. I am gonna find probable cause. We'll keep the bond stayed at $2,500 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2, 500 count 3, 250 on count 4. I am gonna order, he's not gonna run into the police officers. And
I
then
would ask
in,
for no return. This happened at a McDonald's.
oh, yes, no return to that McDonald's. And then in case number 2022 CF 9255AO, that's a Division 22 probable cause order. The capias was signed with a $1,000 bond. The conditions are no contact directly with the victim, co-defendant, or witness, and do not return to the scene of the offense. And again, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office and note that they've waived his appearances today. How about Grayson Keith King?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Were you born on October 1st of 2001?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
And he does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
thank you. So, Mr. King, I did review the charging affidavit. I am gonna find that there's probable cause. This is out of Division 17. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm gonna release you on a straight pretrial release. That means you don't have to post a monetary bond, but you'll be supervised by pretrial services, and you are all set, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any conditions with that, Your Honor?
No, that's fine. Thank you, though. Jonathan Laranaga?
No, he's currently on mental health status.
Okay,
I will waive, Your Honor.
okay. As to 2023 CF 539AO, we'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. They are waiving his appearance. We'll go ahead and stay the bonds at $1,000, $500, and $250. Eric Lutz? Okay, Mr. Lutz, I'm just verifying you were born September 5th of 2002? Okay. This is case number, hold on one second. have a case number for it? Okay, thank you. In case number 2023 CF 492AO, thank you so much. This is a arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Collins. She has set your bonds, on the 16 counts. I'm just gonna stay all of the bonds as they were given. And, we'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you're all set, okay?
You have a bond?
You do have a bond, yes, sir. Good luck.
I don't have one. Just. You can, oh, he can go. I was just giving him the sheet. Go.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Are you Gregory Alexander McCall?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, were you born on January 20th of 1973?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So this is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Wooten. It's in case number 2022 CF 14778AO. It is charged as burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery therein, and attempted carjacking. Hold on one second. Okay, I remember this now. So that was for an incident alleged to have occurred on December 8th of 2022. As to the burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery therein, that's actually punishable by life, so I am gonna keep that bond set at none.
I'm sorry, hold up, Your Honor. What is that particular crime? I'm trying to figure out, what is that particular?
It's for an incident that was alleged to have occurred on December 8th of 2022. It's for a burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery therein. It's a charge that's punishable by life in the Department of Corrections, so I'm gonna set your bond at none. He also gave you a $10,000 bond on count 2 for the attempted carjacking. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and that's out of Division 16. Now, you are currently out on bond in case number 2022 CF 8878AO. That was for an incident that was alleged to have occurred on July 30th. I do show that the state filed an information on August 26th. You bonded out on November 23rd, and then apparently got these charges less than 2 weeks later. So I am gonna revoke your bond in 2022 CF 8878AO. That bond will remain at none until your public defender can get you in front of the trial judge in Division 20. Okay?
Yes, I had one question, Your Honor.
How about, can you ask her just to be safe? I don't want you to say anything about the case on the record. If I didn't, I will.
Your Honor, the incident, the
new law of the
yeah,
warrant?
it happened at the Home Sweet Homes. Unless he lives there, can I ask for a no return?
Yeah, she was just asking me that. So I did a no contact and no return.
Thank you.
That's not, you said it's not you, that's your deep. Purpose is gonna remain no bond. You need to call the attorney for any defenses you may have to the crime. That's all that's happening today. He's probably talking about this case, but I'm letting them know that you're here, so you're gonna have to call. If not, they will reach out to you, and once it's open, I'll let the attorney know you don't have a code. That's why I said, let the attorney know. That may be true, but you gotta let them know so they can file a motion to get it done.
Did they file the guy?
Call the attorney, we gotta
They shot
keep
me in
going.
the head.
I know, but you gotta, no, let that know to the attorney. Because we got other people.
Okay, the next case I have is Monte McNeil. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. McNeil. Were you born on June 21st of 1974?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, I have two cases here for you. I have 2023 CF 532AO. It is a charge of possession of cocaine. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll stay the bond at $1,000. Then the second case is 2022 CT 3788AO. It is for a failure to appear at a pretrial conference in that case, and they set the bond on that at $500, and I believe you already have the public defender on that case. Okay, you're set. Thank you. This should be Anthony Peterson? Yes, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Peterson, okay. Mr. Peterson, just verifying your date of birth, November 19th, 1991?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is case number 2023 CF 525AO. It's out of Division 17. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This is for a charge of grand theft. Yes. What I was probably more inclined to do is because he just got out, was maybe double the bond and take no action on the new law violation. Does the state have any objection to that?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Peterson, obviously you realize if you get out on bond and then you go and allegedly pick up new law violations, I can revoke that bond and hold you in at no bond.
Yes, ma'am.
They are fairly new charges, but more importantly for you, they're not necessarily completely related. So I'm going to take no action on the case that you're currently out on bond on 2023 CF 279AO. But keep in mind, if you keep getting arrested, you're going to get stuck on all these cases with no bond.
And just so the clerk knows, I also added a first appearance detainer for the Dwillis case as well. He bonded out on the same exact day, just so they know. So you take no action on that as well.
Okay, so that's the 2023 CT, no, that can't be that case.
It's not in the clerks yet, so it doesn't have like a criminal traffic number yet, but the number it came in on was 2023-00007656. I talked to the clerk and they said that that was okay just to use that agency case number for now.
Oh, okay. But my guess is, did he actually bond out on that case, or
He
did the
did.
officer just file the charge?
No, he did bond out on
He
it.
did bond out on
Yeah,
it?
I guess they never got the citation, so they couldn't enter it into their system yet. But he was here and he did bond out on it, the same day as he did the felony case.
So she just used the agency case number. So, okay, so I will also take no action on the driving while license suspended charge that you're currently out on bond for. But in the new law violation, the 2023 CF 525AO for the grand theft, I am gonna set the bond at $5,000. And
No return and no contact with the co-defendant?
yes, ma'am. So, no return to that location at 520 North Orlando Avenue and no contact with the co-defendant. And I did appoint the public defender's office. Okay?
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Pugh? He did, I saw that, because that's the charge he's currently out on bond. And they did, either of you know what they did with him downtown? Because, so on that case, that's the 2021 CF 1517AO. That one, the defense had filed a competency motion
Let's see.
But I don't show that he'd ever been evaluated. So I was kind of
I think we're
inclined,
still waiting on the report. An evaluation was completed yesterday.
while he was in jail? Or he did that before he got arrested?
The evaluation was done on the 29th.
Oh, it got turned in yesterday. I got you.
Ah, okay.
That makes more sense. Okay.
I'm trying to see if I see it in here.
As long as the evaluation got done, that was my biggest concern.
It appears so, Your Honor.
Okay, so why don't I do this? As to the case that he's currently out on bond for, I'll take no action. And then as to the 2023 CF 484 AO, I'll appoint the public defender and stay the bond at $1,000.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Quiles? No.
You bonded.
Bonded? Okay. How about Douglas Keith Saunders?
Yes.
And Mr. Saunders, good afternoon. Were you born on December 14th of 1956?
Yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second just to catch up there. Okay, so this is case number 2023 CF 204AO. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Munyon. She determined probable cause. You are entitled to a bond. I am gonna set your bond at $2,000. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This case is assigned to Division 22. And then Mr. Saunders realized that when and if you get out of the Orange County Jail, you do need to go ahead and register again. Okay. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Jamal Taylor. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Taylor. Were you born on August 8th of 1996? Okay. So, sir, I have you here on case number 2020 CF 4214AO. It's failing to appear for a pretrial conference. That judge set your bond at none. That's in Division 10. He has the PD. You do have the Public Defender's Office appointed, so they'll need to get you back in front of the trial judge to change that bond if you would like it to. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. I don't know when your court date is, but you could probably reach out to your PD to get a bond hearing faster than your next court date. Okay? Florantes Telson? Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Telson. Were you born on September 5th of 1982? Were you born September 5th, 1982?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And sir, you're here on charges. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I am finding that there's probable cause.
She wrote it.
He is entitled to a bond, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, Mr. Telson, without telling me anything about any of the alleged allegations or anything, your Does your daughter live with you at this location on Ruthie Drive?
Yes.
Do you have someplace else that you could live until this case kind of gets sorted out and sort of gets moving on its own?
I can send my daughter to my sister in New York or
Okay. The problem is I have to issue a no contact order between you and your daughter. So you're not going to be able to send her anywhere. Now, if your wife or something wants
yeah,
her
my
to,
wife can do that for me. Just for me because the trajet is too much for my wife.
okay.
And so we have 2 young kids. I have to drop them to school. My wife cannot do it by herself.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna set the bond at $2,500. I am gonna order that you have no contact with your daughter at this time. That means that you are gonna need to maintain a separate residence from her. I I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And anything else from this?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, you're all set, sir. Good luck to you. Thank you. Kevin Oscar Villegas, Santiago. Okay, good afternoon, sir. Were you born on April 20th of 1999?
And he does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
He has no history, Your Honor. I would ask for pretrial release in this case.
Yes, sir. This is case number 2023 CF 533AO. I did review, I am finding there's probable cause. Sir, let me ask you a question. Were you wanting the public defender's office appointed, or are you gonna try to hire your own attorney?
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah. Do you want the public defender's office appointed to represent you, or were you gonna try to hire your own attorney? The public defender? So let me ask you a question. Do you have any children? The amount that you put down that you make every month, is that without fail, you always make that amount, or does it kind of vary?
Kind of varies depending on how much hours I put.
Okay. So, how much did you, don't give me your, is this the average, or does it go up, I mean, can it go lower than this? Or is this the highest amount? You put $2,500 every month. Do you think you make that every month, or could it be more like, yeah? Do you have any student loans or anything like that? No? The problem is you don't qualify for a public defender. Let me do this. I'm not going to appoint the public defender because you don't qualify. If your circumstances change, definitely let the trial judge know and see if maybe you can get a public defender at that point. But what I will do is I'll release you on pretrial release. That way you don't have to pay any money up front to get out of jail, but you can be released through pretrial services, and they'll just supervise you. The only conditions that I will impose are that you not drive a motorcycle until you've gotten your motorcycle endorsement. Okay?
The endorsement.
The endorsement, it means it's basically your driver's license to be able to drive a motorcycle. Right now, you don't have one.
I have a question. Since my license is from South Dakota, I have the license from South Dakota that's for the motorcycle. I don't know if it's the same from here in Florida.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it, I may not have to ask you. Hold on one second. So you've been living here in Florida for a year?
Yeah, like 2 years.
And you work here in Florida? Okay. Well, you need a Florida driver's license anyway. So my point is if you can get Florida to give you a motorcycle endorsement, then you're fine, you can drive your motorcycle. But you need to have a Florida driver's license and that Florida motorcycle endorsement on your driver's license. But those are the only conditions that I'm gonna impose on you, and then otherwise you'll be released through pretrial services. Okay, do you have any other questions?
Is there someone who can explain me later on time?
Yeah, when pretrial services comes to do everything, they'll explain it as well. John Welter?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Welter. Were you born on January 17th of 1991? Okay. So I have case number 2023 CF 505AO. That's a charge of tampering with physical evidence. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office and keep your bond set at 500. On case number 2023 MO78AO, I'll go ahead and I'll drop the bond down to $100. I'll appoint the public defender's office, and you're all set. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
I apologize, Your Honor. What is the bond on the CF?
I kept it at 1,000.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, I thought she said 500.
Did I? I could have. I'll tell you, I become number dyslexic the later in the day. So.
Yeah, if I put 500, so you're changing it back to 1,000?
I said stay it at 1,000. Yeah, I apologize. That's what I meant to do. But I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
lower the
okay.
other bond to 100.
No, that's fine, Your Honor. I just,
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Are you Vincent, is it Yednak?
Yes, ma'am.
Did I say that right?
Just about.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm over here. I'm freezing. I got metal on the whole right side of my body. I'm just trying to stay warm. I apologize.
No, that's okay. It is freezing in this building because it's either going to be freezing or it's going to be hot. So, your date of birth is December 25th of 1974?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was a warrant that was signed by Judge Collins. She determined probable cause. It's in case number 2023 CF 431AO. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You are entitled to a bond, and I will set that in the amount of $2,000. Then it looks like they also found that you're out on,
I was on probation, ma'am.
oh, you're on probation.
I was on
So what's gonna happen is, I will go ahead, on that case, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. The bond will stay at none, and then they'll have some time to either follow up with an actual probation violation, or they may choose to drop it, but either way, you're good to go.
I hope they do drop it, honestly.
Okay.
I was just here 2 months ago and I just left, so.
Okay, and just remember when you get out to make sure you register again, okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
did it the last time. That's why I don't know why I'm here again.
Okay. You too, sir.
Your Honor, we have one more issue to address, and I provided a copy right there. Yep. It's a 40-day motion for release. Mr. Lawrence Peterson, he was actually brought here on a 33-day motion. We filed the motion early, and he kind of slipped through the cracks. No information has been filed, so I did a motion for release, and I also attached an order. I would ask that you grant the motion to release him, as no information has been filed and it's been over the 40th day.
Okay, and this is in 2022 CF 1371380, and it's Division 15, Lawrence Livingston Peterson. Does the state agree that no information's been filed as of yet?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will go ahead and grant the motion, and I will sign this order that you've provided me.
Thank you.
Anything else we need to address?
No,
Nothing
Your
from
Honor.
the state.
Okay, I will go ahead and provide that, and we will be adjourned for the weekend.
Whatever, this is your courtroom, whatever you guys do, I will do. So, yes,
Proper, we'll do Percival.
okay.
Percival.
Percival. It's one of the honor. Before?
You want me here, him there?
Yeah. Attorney Fighter, if you'd put your name on the record, please.
Yes, Judge. Good morning. Attorney Thomas Fighter on behalf of Ralph Percival, standing to my right.
This is case number 2023 CF 106 out of Osceola. Mr. Fighter?
Yes, good morning, Judge. This is a case where Mr. Percival bonded out of Osceola County, I believe in November or December of last year. My understanding of the facts here are that he was arrested on those charges, and some evidence was taken into evidence by law enforcement. They discovered something on his phone, and that's the reason for the warrant going out. So he did not violate the terms of his pretrial release. It was something that predated the arrest.
So, Ms. Eugene, anything from the state? And take your time, I know this is.
No, Your Honor, my understanding is that the defendant does have bonds, so I'm not sure what the argument is.
My concern is that it's actually a little bit of unfamiliar territory for me. This is an Osceola County case, and we're all in the Ninth Judicial Circuit here. But I'm trying to get my client released from Orange County without the need of having to transport him down to Osceola. There are two holds. Pretrial release said it was the out-of-county warrant, and then I don't know what the other one was called, but
It's a first appearance detainer for a case that he's out on bond in Osceola County.
so what I'm unfamiliar with is if this court can order Osceola to say, hey, look, we're just going to release him from here.
I understand what you're saying.
If he posts the bond, I don't believe it ever matters where he posts it from.
The question, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Fighter, is even if he posts the bonds here, it appears there's a hold out of Osceola related all to the same case. Or all
Yeah,
to the same events.
Right, and I don't know if there's any kind of operating procedures that require the jails to transport him down there before he can be released. I'm hoping to avoid that and just allow him to be released here from Orange
Well,
County.
The hold is the first appearance detainer, Your Honor, and you can address that.
Okay, so I
Today.
can. And then let's go to the bond amounts. I believe what's here is $1,000 per count by 5 counts.
Yes, Judge. Bond amounts are not a problem. We're just concerned with the holds.
Right, and the hold and not to revoke whatever was previously done based on the fact that this predates or all arises out of the same offense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so at this time, obviously, we have a notice of appearance for Mr. Fighter, so we don't need to worry about a public defender. We'll leave the bond at $1,000 per count for the 5 counts, and we'll release any holds with regard to first appearances and take no action with regard to any bond that he's previously out on. Does that cover?
The only thing that I'd ask that the court may reflect in the court minutes is that he be permitted to be released from Orange County without having to be transported to Osceola. I think.
Does he have any bond conditions that he needs to, does he have to check in with anybody upon release for anything else? I just want to make sure that we're overly clear as opposed to leaving something.
Not that I'm aware of, Judge. If I learn of something, I'll come back before I leave. So I'll step out and make a call.
Okay.
But I don't believe so. Did you have something?
Just tell
me.
Speak to him in private first.
No, just checking in with the bail bondsman.
Okay.
Nothing that should hold him.
All right. Does that cover everything on your end? All right. I think we're set then.
Okay, thank you, Judge. If I learn of anything else, I'll come up and readdress.
Okay, and Judge Adams will be here in the afternoon if by chance you have to deal with that.
Martha Adams? Okay, thank you, Judge. Good to see you.
Take care. Yeah, okay, I remember.
That's all I have, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, Mr. Fighter, good to see you.
Likewise, take care.
All right. And this is Miss Peterson?
I have Ms. Bridges.
Bridges, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, Tom Somerville on behalf of LaQuisha Bridges.
I remember reading her, so just give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a case number, please?
This is 2023 MM 303, I think that's AW. AO, thank you. All right, so this is 1 count of domestic violence battery, 1 count of petty theft. The original VOP was on,
No VOP.
I'm sorry?
There's not a violation.
Okay, I apologize. So this is just a warrant. I did write that there's not a narrative, and in the clerk of court site, one hasn't posted yet. It's just, I only have a warrant at this point in time. The warrant that was previously signed by Judge Beamer provides a bond for count 2 of $500 for the theft, but not a bond for the battery. So just trying to figure that out at this point.
Your Honor, could I explain
Sure,
a little
Mr.
bit about what's
Somerville.
going on? This was an event, Ms. Bridges is a resident of Hillsborough County, was born and raised there. She came over in November to spend the night with some friends, got into a disagreement with her father, who resides in Orange County. He called the police. She went back to Tampa. The warrant apparently went out unbeknownst to either her father or her. Last Friday, she was arrested in Tampa when she was pulled over for a minor speeding infraction, taken to the Hillsborough County Jail. Of course, they held her for 7 days while we were waiting to get her over here. So that's basically, it was a battery charge allegedly against her father. Her family contacted me. I've spoken to the father. He has signed a declination of prosecution. It appears like everything's gonna keep going and hopefully get taken care of. What I don't want to happen is for us to come back 72 hours from now to give the state additional time. So based on all of that, I'd respectfully request the court ROR her on the other, on both charges, frankly. She's been in jail for 7 days. She's hired private counsel. She has no prior criminal history. She has 2 children and a job. She's going to appear. We're going to get this case worked out. The only other thing I would comment on is that there is another case number in the clerk's directly related to this, and I want to make sure that there's not a hold on that, 2022 MM 7895. I believe that's an AO as well.
That's what she's in on.
Okay, but there were 2 different case numbers for the same event. I don't know if one was for a warrant, one was for the, I've never seen that before. I didn't understand it.
She doesn't have any holds
Okay,
here in Orange, so.
that's the most important thing. I can clear the rest up later.
All right, so your notice of appearance is found in the 7895 case, the 2022 MM 7895.
I would, or a tennis file a notice, and I'll do that later today on the
No problem, we'll
303.
accept that. I'm just making sure. So the 2023 MM case was just created today. I do believe you're correct that it's created based on the KPS warrant. Okay, Miss Eugene, what says the state with regard to the defense's request on ROR status as opposed to a bond?
Your Honor, as indicated by defense, this defendant doesn't live in this jurisdiction. Immediately after the incident, she left the jurisdiction. I don't mind if it's a nominal amount, even if it's $100, but as it is, as of right now, a domestic violence, which per statute should not be released should not be released non-monetarily, I would ask for a monetary bond, Your Honor.
Mr. Somerville, $100 on as to count 1, ROR as to count 2?
Yes, sir.
The theft?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's what we'll do. Ms. Bridges, we're going to release you on your own recognizance with regard to count 2, the theft charge, and we're going to issue a bond in the amount of $100 as to the battery charge. There are going to be some additional conditions. Mr. Somerville can go over those with you and how they may be modified. Mr. Somerville, until the court gets something from the defendant, we're going to keep no contact with your father in place at this time. You're not to return to the incident location, which I believe is going to be your father's address at this time, and you're not to possess any firearms or any weapons while this case is pending. If you own any firearms or weapons, you're to surrender them to your local sheriff's office. So if it's back in Hillsborough, you can surrender your firearms to them within 24 hours of your release from custody. Mr. Somerville, anything else I can clean up for you on the record?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Just keep in touch with your attorney, okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Somerville. Thank you, Ms. Eugene. All right. This was Bridges. George, is this Mr. Peterson?
Yes, Your Honor. We brought Mr. Peterson back because the state relayed an offer to resolve his disorderly conduct with an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, and court costs. Mr. Peterson would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest. In exchange for taking the plea, Your Honor, I'd ask that you take no action on the out on bond.
Ms. George, is that the offer from the state at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Peterson, could you please state your name into the microphone?
Ryan Peterson.
Can you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I'm holding up in my right hand a plea form. It's got your name on the top. It says Ryan Peterson. It says AG CTSCC, adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs, and it's got your case number, 2023 MO 69AO, and I believe this might be your signature. Can you see everything from here, from where you're standing? Does this look like the form you just signed?
Ryan Peterson,
Does that look like your signature right there?
It does.
Okay.
It's not a-
You're charged with one count of disorderly conduct. What the state is willing to offer to you and what Ms. George has stated to the court is that you're willing to accept a plea to this charge of an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, meaning all the time that you've already done, plus payment of court costs. I would reduce your costs to a judgment so that you would have to pay those over time or have it negatively affect your credit. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you to accept this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Have you read this form or spoken with your attorney about the rights you're giving up by accepting this plea?
Yes, yes.
Among those rights are the right to remain silent, the right to have a trial in this case, at that trial have the right to make the state prove the charges against you, present witnesses in your own defense, or have the court subpoena witnesses to help you present your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The maximum possible penalties in this case, I'm assuming this is an M2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So it'd be 60 days in jail or a $500 fine. Those are the maximum possible penalties. You're not accepting those, you're just wishing to do credit time served. Do you understand that? Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, entry of this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for the court that your attorney could not answer for you at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm also going to impose the public defender's fee with regard to the costs and assess those as a judgment.
Okay. Can you? Yeah, normally because they resolve the case, Your Honor, I'd ask that you not impose the fee. It just adds fees.
That's fine by me. It's your office. So
Okay,
if
thank you.
If that's fine by me. So we will not impose a public defender fee. Is there anything else that can help you with? Is that
No,
it?
Your Honor,
All
that's
right.
it.
Are you taking any action on his,
Oh,
not
yes,
on
correct.
ROR?
Thank you. Based on the plea at this time, we'll take no action on the previous cases bonds. Do you need these or do you just toss them? These? Okay. Yes. All right, so I read a note that says that I'm to temporarily appoint you. All right, so at this time, we'll temporarily appoint the offices of the public defender with regard to Nathan Jones, one count of battery, domestic violence by strangulation.
And I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, so at this time, we'll waive the appearance. I do find probable cause. I will hold, we'll set the bond at $2,000. No return to the residence, no contact with the victim, no possession of any, go ahead.
I would just ask as a condition, you allow him to return one time with law enforcement to gather any belongings.
We'll do that. One time with law enforcement to gather any belongings, no contact with the victim, no possession of firearms or any weapons. Any firearms or weapons that he may have, he is to surrender to law enforcement within 24 hours of his release. Does that take us to McKee?
Yes.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. State your name, please.
Noah McKee.
All right. Good morning, Mr. McKee. You are here on 3 counts. First one being aggravated assault, domestic violence. Second count being battery, simple battery, and misdemeanor domestic violence. And third count being assault, domestic violence. I don't believe we have anyone here. I did review the probable cause affidavit in your case. I do find there is probable cause to set a bond in this case. With regard to count 1, the aggravated assault, I'm setting your bond at $2,000. With regard to count 2, battery, I'm going to set your bond at $500. And with regard to count 3, assault, domestic violence, I'm also going to set your bond at $500. So your total bond, sir, is $3,000. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to represent you in this case? Are you seeking your own private attorney, or do you wish to represent yourself?
Private attorney.
All right. So additional bond conditions that are going to be put in place. You may return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. After that, you're not to return to the residence at all, and you're not to have any contact with the alleged victims in this case. You're also not to possess any firearms in this, while this case is pending. If you own any firearms, you're to surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any questions, sir? Anything I missed? All right, so thank you. Best of luck to you. You're free to go. All right, just one second. Mr. Ortega, I believe we have someone here present for this case. Sir, please state your name.
Janai Ortega.
All right, Mr. Ortega. Ma'am, could you please state your name, please?
Michelle Ortega.
All right, Michelle Ortega, she is the mother and alleged victim. Ms. Eugene, do you wish to inquire?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ms. Ortega, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Ortega. How do you know the defendant?
He's my son.
Do you live together?
Yes.
While this case is pending, do you want to continue living together?
Yes.
Has something like this happened before?
Not towards me, but I've been treating him for mental health since he was little.
Okay.
He threatened me one time when he was little. We've been through a lot.
Ma'am, I'm just going to ask you to pause. Can you speak slightly louder? I don't know if the judge can hear everything that you're saying.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Since he was little, we've been having a lot of mental things. He was also diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Okay.
I forgot to give you this.
Is that the paperwork that you handed me earlier?
No, this is another one.
Okay.
And he's been on and off medications. He got better. He got ups and downs.
All right.
Lately, he's been telling me that he have thoughts of doing things. But this happened a few weeks ago. We were in New Jersey, so I didn't know what to do.
Are you afraid of him?
No. I was afraid that he heard somebody or himself because he said he hear voices and stuff.
You mentioned medication. Does he have a doctor? Does he have a standing prescription?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also have epilepsy that has been going on for almost 3 years. And that affects him a lot. Like, he's been not progressing as he was supposed to.
Okay.
And depression is more intense than before. He wants to join the army, but because the epilepsy, he can't. So it's been a lot for him.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you very much for coming in.
All right, Mr. Ortega, before we get started with the bond conditions, I have a couple of questions for you. First being, do you plan on trying to obtain your own attorney? Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to help represent you in this case? Or do you wish to represent yourself in this case? And if you need me to explain your options, I can do that too.
I can represent myself.
Your Honor, and there is a document from the mother from I believe this is a mental health counselor who did an evaluation. If you would like to see it, if I could.
Yeah, if you could approach, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So at this time, I am going to temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you, sir. It's a temporary appointment. They don't have to continue to represent you throughout the whole entirety of your case. I just want them to assist you with getting through at least the initial steps. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. So with regard to that, and the testimony provided by Ms. Ortega, Ms. George, or Ms. Eugene, do either of you want to be heard with regard to the bond?
Your Honor, at this time, I'm inquiring as to whether or not Mr. Ortega would qualify for pretrial release. My understanding with regard to mental health pretrial release is that the program is overwhelmed, and therefore, unless it's an extreme case, no one else is being accepted into it. So I'm inquiring as to whether or not he could just qualify for pretrial release.
He wasn't qualified, Your Honor. I don't have a lot of information on my face sheet from our officer as to why, but I'm guessing it would be concerns that he would be able to comply and show up based upon mental health history, and probably just trying not to set him up for
What,
coming back.
what I saw was that they didn't have an I don't know.
Yeah, but that wouldn't.
Yeah, that wouldn't
disqualify him.
disqualify him.
I don't have a lot of
I-
info on the face sheet, but I'm gonna guess that that led them to not feel comfortable qualifying him.
I think my question would be to ask the mom, would you be posting the bond for Mr. Ortega?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I was thinking of asking the mother how much she could afford, being that he has no other criminal history. I would have preferred pretrial release, but given the mother's statement, I am gonna ask maybe an ROR as to some of the charges. Do you know how much bond, Ms. Ortega, you could post? How much you could afford?
Right now, we just came back from vacation, so I don't know, maybe
Your Honor,
200.
in light of the fact that the state was willing to agree to pretrial release, if you do $100 per count, I have no problem with that, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. Mr. Ortega, so, and also with regard to the strangulation, the state may just need to look into that specific component. But with regard to count one, I do find probable cause. I'm gonna set your bond at $100. With regard to count two, I do find probable cause, set your bond at $100, and count three, the same, probable cause, set your bond at $100. But I am gonna impose some very specific conditions for you, sir, okay? You are, based on your mother's testimony, going to be allowed to return to the residence. You're not to possess any firearms or any weapons. If you own any, they are to be surrendered to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You're not to have any hostile contact with your mother. You're also not going to have any, I'm going to ask that during the pendency of your case that you not return to the church. Redimidos por Dios on 6509 Hazeltine National Drive. If the powers that be at the church, the priest or whoever works there wishes to allow you back, they can contact your attorney to request that your attorney have that condition be removed. But while this case is pending, you're not to return to that church either, okay?
I understand.
Did I miss anything?
And Ms. Ortega, you don't have to put it on the record, but if I give you a piece of paper, could you write your phone number so that I could have the attorney also call and discuss some of the mental health concerns? Thank you.
Do you want this back, Ms. Jordan? I don't know if she needs a copy or if your attorney, your line attorney will want a copy. All right, good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Sherling John Daniel.
All right, just 1 second, Mr. Sherling.
Oh, yes, sorry, here.
Mr. Sherling, you're here charged with 1 count of aggravated battery. I do find probable cause to hold you on that charge. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. I'm going to order that you not return to the residence. You can return one time with law enforcement to collect your belongings, but after you've done that, you can't return to the residence until another judge has changed or modified the conditions of your release. You're not to have any contact with the victim while the case is pending. You're also not to consume or possess any drugs or alcohol while out on bond. And you're not to possess any firearms or weapons while you're out on bond. If you own any firearms, you're to surrender those to your local law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Sir, do you wish to have the office of the public defender temporarily appointed to represent you? Do you wish to seek your own attorney, or do you plan on representing yourself? All right, so at this time, I'll temporarily appoint the services of the public defender to represent you. Oh, I didn't see it. Thank you. All right, anything from you, Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Best of luck to you, Mr. Shirley. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
David Alsep.
All right, Mr. Alsep, you're here for one charge of battery by touch or strike. I have reviewed the affidavit. It's a domestic violence charge. I do find there's probable cause to hold you. I'm going to set your bond at $500.
And he does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
Qualifies for PTR. All right, sir, you've got a couple of options before you. You can be released on pretrial release, which has some different conditions, but you get released. You just have to check in with them within a certain amount of time of your release, and you keep checking in with them until your case is concluded. Is that something you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, next question is, do you plan on hiring your own attorney, seeking the services of a public defender, which I see? Public defender, all right. So we'll go ahead and temporarily appoint the services of the public defender, release you on PTR. As part of your PTR conditions, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You can return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to obtain any belongings that you may need. You're not to consume or possess any drugs or alcohol while you're out on bond, and you're also not to possess any firearms or weapons. If you do own any weapons, those are to be released to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release, and you can get those back after the case is pending, depending on the outcome of the case. With regard to PTR, will he meet with somebody to know when he needs to check in?
Yeah, we'll give him all the paperwork when he is on his way out.
All right, sir, on your way out, they're gonna give you some paperwork with regard to your conditions. If you fail to live up to the conditions of PTR, you can be back before the court, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Okay, contact you. Thank you.
All right, or Miss Eugene and Miss George, I do have a question with regard to the next one, Miss Cleopatra. Miss Cleopatra, you can come on up to the mic. This is Cleopatra, I'm sorry, I called you Miss Cleopatra, Miss Aviles. Miss Cleopatra Aviles, can you state your name, please?
Cleopatra Aviles.
All right, this one, it just says they both started fighting. Allegedly later, she states that Aviles said she exited the room, took the PlayStation from the nightstand. At this point, Aviles said she and Loretto started fighting over the video game. So we've got just started fighting twice. I know you don't write them, Miss Eugene, and I know they don't check in with you before they leave.
Your Honor, I have no argument. If you are saying you have no PC, I can't even ask for an additional 24 hours. I doubt that there is any more information that the officer would provide.
All right. So based on the affidavit that was provided to the court, Ms. George may be able to explain to you what's going on. I'm not going to find probable cause to hold you, okay? So at this time, I am going to release you on your own recognizance with regard to that. But before you get released, I need to know, do you plan on hiring an attorney, requesting the services of a public defender, or do you plan on representing yourself?
The public defender.
All right, so at this time, I'm going to temporarily appoint the services of the public defender. You don't qualify? It's just a point. Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, okay, ma'am?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you. Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Camacho? All right, please state your full name. All right, Mr. Camacho, you're here on a couple of cases. I've got you here for 2023 MM 304 with regard to a battery, domestic violence, and a resisting an officer without violence. I also see that you are out on bond in a felony case for possession of controlled substance. With regard to the battery, domestic violence, I do find probable cause. I'm going to pose your bond at $500 with regard to count one. I'm also going to impose a bond of, or keep your bond at $500 with regard to count two for resisting an officer without violence. With regard to that, If you share a residence, let me see this. All right, so you're not going to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case unless otherwise ordered by a subsequent court. You're also not to possess any firearms or any other weapons. While this case is pending, if you own any firearms or other weapons, you're to surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Miss Eugene, what says the state with regard to the case he's out on bond in, the possession of controlled substance in 2022 CF 9494AO?
Your Honor, formal charges have been filed with regard to that. He has arraignment set for February 2nd. I would ask that you either revoke and hold him at no bond or you revoke and double, Your Honor.
And what was the last part?
Revoke and double the bond that's already.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's ROR. So you would either revoke and hold at no bond or revoke and set a bond, Your Honor.
Ms. George?
Your Honor, I would ask that you take no action on the out on bond as it's unrelated. Additionally, he has to, I see it, is his Broward County held at no bond? I see a hold for Broward.
There are no bonds.
Yes, so what I would ask is that you stay the bonds on the new law so that he can post them and go ahead and deal with Broward County. He has no bond on that anyway, Your Honor. I believe it's a probation.
VOPs, yeah.
So,
Probations. But if I revoke his bond here, they won't transport him? Is that
correct.
what you're saying?
He'll have to wait until he resolves that before he gets transported.
All right. I am going to revoke, but I'll give him a bond. So I am going to revoke the bond on the underlying felony charge based on it being filed and based on him providing a false name in this new case or allegedly providing a false name in the new case. So I'm going to revoke the bond, the ROR status in the felony, and then post a new bond in the, have him post a new bond in the amount of $1,000. So it's $500 per misdemeanor in the new charge and $1,000 for the felony for a total of $2,000. If you post that, he can go down to Broward and address those cases down there.
Your Honor, with regard to the new law offense, you didn't do a separate residence or a no return. You just did no contact and no weapons, no firearms.
So you are to maintain a separate residence, thank you. Because this didn't happen at home, I don't know if you live with her or not, I don't need to know, don't tell me. But if you do reside with the victim, upon being released, you are not to return to that residence or to maintain a separate residence from the alleged victim while the case is pending, okay? And I'm gonna appoint the Office of the Public Defender on your case, sir, is that what you'd like? Are they representing you in the underlying case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so yes, we'll go ahead and appoint the PD, thank you.
And Your Honor, could he have that one-time return with law enforcement?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, one-time return with law enforcement, in the presence of law enforcement to get anything that you need, and then after that, maintain separate residences, okay? Good luck. Good morning, are you Miss Campbell?
Sir.
All right, ma'am, can you please state your full name?
Isha Campbell.
All right, Miss Campbell, you're here on one charge of domestic violence battery.
And she does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
She qualifies for PTR, but she doesn't qualify for the for the Office of the Public Defender. All right, so state any objection to PTR?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Campbell, you have two choices with regard to how you would like to get released from custody, okay? You have pretrial release conditions where you wouldn't have to pay any money to get out, but then you would have to check in with their office and do the things that they say you have to do to stay out without having to pay. Or I can give you a bond in the amount of $500, you'd have to pay that, or use a bondsman to get out and comply with whatever your bondsman conditions are. Do you have any questions about that, or do you have a preference as to which you would like to do?
The first one where I don't have to pay?
Okay, so we are gonna go ahead and release you on PTR. Before you leave the jail, they're gonna meet with you and explain to you what you have to do with them and how you have to check in. You have to abide by all the conditions of PTR, or you could be brought back to jail and have to see another judge with regard to that and getting a bond and that whole thing, okay? You also do not qualify for the services of a public defender. So do you wish to try to hire a private attorney, or are you gonna represent yourself?
Myself.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we're gonna release you on PTR. I do find probable cause With regard to the residence, you can return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to get any belongings, but you can't live there while this case is pending, okay? You're also not to have any contact with the alleged victim while the case is pending. You're not to possess any firearms or any other weapons while the case is pending. If you own any firearms or weapons, you're to surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release, or you could be brought back for violating the conditions of your bond. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, best of luck to you. Yeah, do not return. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Frazier. You're here on a charge of battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause to hold you on that charge.
And he also qualifies for PTR, Your Honor.
All right, so you qualify for, I should try to keep up with both my stacks here. All right, sir, similar to the last person, I don't know if you got to hear, you have the option of being released on pretrial release, which is non-monetary. You don't have to pay to get out, but you have to comply with the pretrial release conditions, and you can get out on that, or I can give you a monetary bond. I would give you a bond in the amount of $500. It's your choice which way you'd like to go.
On the first one, that just means that I have to come back on a certain date.
You have to, you'll get assigned to a person in the office, and they'll let you know what your conditions are, and you just have to keep up with those conditions, whether it be checking in with your attorney, whether it's making sure that you stay and reside within the county, things like that. I can't tell you what your specific ones are gonna be. They're kind of a case-by-case thing based on your charge, but you get out without having to post any money.
Yes, sir, I would love that.
Okay, so we're gonna do PTR with regard to the DV charge. I'm assuming the state doesn't object?
No objection.
If you do, let me know, because I'm making a lot of assumptions here.
Will do, thank you.
All right, so with regard to that, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, okay? You are to maintain separate residences, because this didn't occur at a home, so you can go, if you reside with the victim, and I don't want you to tell me whether you do or not. If you do, you can return one time with law enforcement in their presence to get anything that's yours that you need to then maintain a separate residence while this case is pending. Don't have contact with the alleged victim. You're not to possess any firearms while you're out on bond or any other weapons. If you do own any weapons, you are to release those to law enforcement or surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any?
Did you appoint us, Sharon?
I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any questions about those conditions?
No, sir.
All right, with regard to representation in this case, are you seeking the services of the public defender?
No, sir.
Do you wish to hire your own attorney or represent yourself?
I'm gonna represent myself.
Okay, so we'll have that down in your notes at this time. All right, thank you, sir. Best of luck to you.
So you have a lovely day.
I appreciate it.
Hello,
Hi, Miss Jackson. Could you please state your name, please?
Deanna Chantal Jackson.
All right, Miss Jackson, you're also here on a charge of battery domestic violence.
Yes.
And she also qualifies for PTR.
All right, ma'am. I don't know if you heard me explain to the last gentleman with regard to PTR. You have two options. You have the ability to be released on pretrial release, which is a non-monetary, meaning no money. You don't have to post. You don't have to pay any money. Nobody has to pay money for you to get released. But you would have to check in with their office and keep checking in with their office while the case is pending. I can't tell you what their conditions are going to be, but they will have some type of condition for you, whether it's checking in or whatnot, but it's not money. Or I can give you a bond and you'd have to pay money and you wouldn't have to check in with them. But in your case, I would be setting the bond at $1,000. So you'd either have to post that yourself or use a bondsman. Your other option is the pretrial release, which is no money.
Okay, so with the pretrial release, I can go home, but I'll have to check in with who exactly?
You would check in with their offices. Before you leave today, you'd meet with somebody and they'd explain to you all of the conditions and what you'd have to do, but you would get out with no money.
Okay, I would take that, please.
Okay, so we'll do the pretrial release with regard to that. Let me see. Ma'am, I don't see a request for the Office of the Public Defender. Did you wish to hire a private attorney, represent yourself, or do you wish to seek the services of the Public Defender?
I'll just represent myself.
Okay. All right, so we'll have that down at this time. So you are going to be released on PTR. You're going to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. You're also can return to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to gain any belongings that you need that are yours, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons while you're out on bond. If you own any weapons or firearms, you're to release or surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Any questions before I let you go?
Your Honor? Your Honor, two things. If you could clarify that the one-time return is in the presence of law enforcement, and also because a child witnessed this, DCF was contacted, if she could cooperate with any DCF investigation.
All right, ma'am. So, just to be clear, you are only allowed to return one time to the residence to obtain any belongings in the presence of law enforcement. You also need to maintain a separate residence from the alleged victim while this case is pending, unless you get an order from a judge allowing you back in, okay? And with regard to the DCF, you are to comply with any DCF investigation while this case is pending. Do you understand? Okay. All right, best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Paulino, could you please state your name?
Annalise Paulino.
All right, Ms. Paulino, you're also here on a charge of battery domestic violence, 1 count. She doesn't qualify for PTR due to residency, right? Or lack of stable
That,
residency?
and she has a pending notice to appear CT case.
Okay, an NTA on a Willis. All right. All right, ma'am. So I do find probable cause in your case. I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $500. Okay? You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case. You are allowed to return back to the residence one time in the presence of law enforcement to retrieve any of your belongings. And then you're to maintain a separate residence from the alleged victim while the case is pending. You're not to have any firearms or any weapons while this case is pending. If you do own any of those, you're to surrender them to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I do see here that you filled out the request for a public defender. Do you wish to have the public defender appointed?
Yes.
All right, so at this time, we will appoint the office of the public defender to represent you in this case. Ms. George is now standing to your left. She's going to give you some information. Upon your release, please contact them. If you don't get released, they'll come and contact you. They'll come here. But as soon as you get out, make sure you get a hold of them so that they can start working on your case as quickly as they can.
What about my son?
Okay, I don't want to get into any of the underlying facts of your case. I understand that that's obviously important. But with that, there are government services that may get involved with regard to what's going on with your son. Hopefully you can post a bond and that won't be an issue, but if there is, you're to comply with any of those investigations that may be going on, okay, ma'am? All right, just 1 second. I believe we have Mr. Ramdeen here. All right. Ma'am, could you please state your name?
Kristen Ramdeen.
All right, Ms. Ramdeen, and I believe we have, sir, is your name Carl?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Carl
sir.
Ramdeen? All right. Sir, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, could you state your name again, please?
Carl Ramdeen.
All right, Mr. Ramdeen. Ms. Eugene, do you wish to inquire?
Thank you, Your Honor, yes. Good morning, sir. How do you know the defendant?
My wife.
Do you live together?
Yes, ma'am.
While this case is pending, do you want to continue living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Has something like this happened before?
No, ma'am.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
No, ma'am.
I have no further questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so she qualifies for PTR.
No objection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
All right. I also see that she filled out the form for the public defender. Ms. Ramdeen, do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to represent you in this case?
Yes, please.
All right, so we'll go ahead and appoint the Office of the Public to represent you. We'll release you on pretrial release conditions based on the testimony provided by Mr. Ramdeen here in open court. I will allow you to return to the residence. However, you are to maintain no hostile contact. So you can have contact with him. If it gets hostile, needs to either simmer down or you guys gotta cool off in other places, or else you can come back here for violating your conditions of bond, okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Sir, thank you for your time this morning. I don't know how long it'll take her to get processed, but she'll be out on pretrial release at some point later today. Morning, is it Rodriguez Sarden?
Yes.
All right, could you please state your full name?
Jennifer Marie Rodriguez Alden.
All right, ma'am, you're here for one count of domestic violence battery. I did review the probable cause affidavit. I do find there is probable cause to hold you on that charge. You do not qualify for pretrial release, so I'm gonna set your bond in the amount of $500. I see that you filled out the application for a public defender. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to represent you? Ask me questions, don't tell me about your case.
Habla español.
Sí, pero we have to have, if you need the services of an interpreter, we have to use an official person. I can't do it for you.
No, I understand. It just, es una pregunta chiquitita.
Let me,
Lo último, no entendí lo último que me dijiste.
okay, so do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender, which is a law firm, represent you to help you with this case? You filled out an
I did.
yes,
But you told me I already have a bond, correct?
right, but they don't just help you with the bond, they can help you with the entire case. They can help defend you and represent you in the entire case. Ms. George, who's present to your left, is an attorney with the Public Defender's Office.
I can still get that and then later on, or I have to do it right now?
You can get it later on, but if you get it now, they start helping you now. If you get it later on, they won't start helping you until later on. I don't know what's gonna happen in your case. I just
No,
want,
I think I'll wait then. I think I'll wait.
okay, just take 1 second and talk to her, and we'll see what's going on.
Okay. So I guess just continue with it.
She said she would like the public defender, Your Honor.
All right, so at this time, we'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Okay, now we're gonna get into, excuse me, the conditions of your bond, okay? While the case is pending, you're not to have any alleged contact with the victim in the case. You can return to the address one time in the presence of law enforcement to obtain any belongings that are yours. Then after that, you're to maintain separate residences from the victim. Your public defender, if anything changes with the victim, your public defender can represent you with regard to returning to the home, but as of now, you cannot, outside of the one time. And you're also not to possess any firearms or any weapons. If you own any firearms or weapons, you're to surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, ma'am. You're free to go. All right. Ma'am, if you'd approach the You can go ahead. We'll wait because I believe we have someone here.
And Ms. Tebby does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, could you please state your name out loud?
Lauren Tebby.
All right, Ms. Tebby. Just 1 second. Sir, could you please state your name out loud?
Marcus Ospina.
All right, Mr. Ospina, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, 1 second. Miss Tebby, are you expecting? Okay. All right, go ahead, Miss Eugene, if you have any questions you'd like to inquire.
Good morning.
Morning.
How do you know the defendant?
She's my girlfriend.
Do you live together?
Yes.
While this case is pending, do you want to continue living together?
Yes.
Has something like this happened before?
No.
Were drugs or alcohol involved in this incident?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Sir, do you wish to have contact with her?
Yes, sir.
Do you wish to have her back in the residence?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Tebby, you do qualify for pretrial release, which means you can be released without paying a bond, but you would have to comply with the conditions of the pretrial release office. Do you understand that? Yes. State any objection to pretrial release?
No objection.
All right. The last question I have for you, Ms. Tebby, you did fill out a form requesting the services of a public defender. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender represent you in this case? Which is the attorney, Ms. George, or her office. It wouldn't be specifically Ms. George, but an attorney from the office could start representing you in this case. Is that something you wish to have happen?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
PTR, no hostile.
Yes, Your Honor, she would like to plead.
All right, so at this time, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Ma'am, based on the testimony from Mr. Ospina here today in court, I am going to allow you to return to the residence and have contact with him. However, I'm going to order that that contact remain not hostile. So you can't argue, yell, or fight again. If you do so, you can return to court on a no bond status for violating the court's condition. But I'm also going to order that you not possess any firearms or weapons. If you own any firearms or weapons, you're to surrender those to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Thank you, Mr. Ospina. She's going to be released on pretrial release at some point later today. I don't know the timeline, but thank you for coming in. Best of luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so now we're moving to all out of counties, right? And then BOP. Okay. All right, good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you're here on an out-of-county warrant from, looks like Polk County. Looks like there might be 2 separate cases for 4 total charges. Each case does already have a bond with it, and the amount of it's just one case? All right. One case, 2 counts. They have a bond in the amount of $1,000 each for a total of $2,000. So your options are stay here and they'll transport you to Osceola and you can handle your business down there, or you can post the bonds here in the amount of $1,000 each and get released, but you'd still have to report back to Polk County after you're released. Do you understand that? All right, thank you. You're free to go. Ms. Braithwaite, could you please state your whole name?
Nara Brathwaite.
Ms. Braithwaite, you're here on an out-of-county warrant from Osceola County. Thank you very much. It is a no-bond warrant, so you don't have a bond. Oh, there it is. You don't have a bond to post, so they're going to come pick you up and transport you to Osceola County. They only have a certain amount of time to do that. If they don't transport you within a certain amount of time, they'll bring you back before a judge, and they'll discuss your bond conditions at that time. Okay, ma'am?
Do you know how long is a certain amount of time?
What's it? It's a week now, 10 days?
Okay.
I know it's 72 hours, so 3 days. Things changed with COVID for a little bit, but COVID's kind of over, so
72 hours. If you're not, they'll bring you back on what, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Dyer. State your whole name.
Michaela Dyer.
All right, Ms. Dyer, you're being held on an out-of-county warrant for a probation violation out of Seminole County. It does have a bond with it, so you have a $500 bond. So you have two options. You can post your bond and go back to Seminole County to handle your charge there, or you can stay here and they'll transport you within 72 hours. If they don't transport you within 72 hours, you'll be brought back before a judge to discuss your bond conditions.
Okay, I have a question. If I pay bond, would I be released or will I have to wait anyway until Seminole come gets me?
You'd be released, but then you on your own have to go back to Seminole County to report with your probation officer, because just they violated you doesn't mean you stop reporting.
Okay, yes, sir. So it's 500. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make it
No,
correct.
it's fine.
It's 500. I can bond out 10%, which is $100, or I have to pay the whole 500.
That depends, but depends on you and whichever bondsman company you can talk to, whatever
Okay.
they work out with you. It's usually about 10%, but then there's also a minimum, I
Minimum.
think, of 75
right.
or 100.
Right.
So you can post that bond, but then you'd have to go check into your probation officer.
As soon as I get out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I would definitely do that. Thank you so much.
I didn't sign the warrant. Someone else did and gave you a bond.
My judge is
so-
amazing. I love her.
There you go.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That was Dyer. That was Dyer.
That was Dyer. Jackson. Sure. Okay. Yes. Okay, Joao Mora bonded. Oh. Correct. Are we, no, that's fine. Are we temporarily appointing the Office of the Public Defender to handle the first appearance on Nelson?
Yes, Your Honor, and I will waive the appearance.
All right, so on Nelson, there is an out-of-county warrant from Osceola, 2 counts, no bond as to each count. So we'll go ahead and hold him on that if he's not picked up, or Marcellus, yeah, that's a he. They'll come get him within 72. If not, he'll get brought back for first appearances. We already handled Percival, so that brings me to Dustin Smith, I believe. So,
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
sure.
He's currently on mental health status.
Do I do the same thing as if they were in? All right, so we'll temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender with regard to Dustin Smith.
And I will waive, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll waive his appearance this morning. He's got an out-of-county warrant from Polk on a no-bond status. We'll hold him on that no-bond status. If he's not picked up within 72, we'll go ahead and bring him back for another first appearance. You, Mr. Timothy? All right, good morning, sir. Please state your full name.
Pierre Richard Timothy.
All right, Mr. Timothy, you're being held on a warrant out of Osceola County. You do have a bond on your warrant. You have the ability to post bond in the amount of $800. If you, this is a purge amount for child support. All right, sir.
I believe this is a mistake, the owner.
Unfortunately, it's in Osceola, so I don't know anything about it.
Well, they automatically took the payment from my,
You got,
my employer.
you garnished your wages?
Yes.
You take it straight out of your wages?
Yeah, for the past 14 years, but I don't understand where the mistake come from.
Okay.
Until, because I just started a new job, a new position.
Okay.
A new dealership this month, because my daughter, she's 21. I just finished paying for her college.
Okay.
My son is going to turn 20, right? Because the mistake was back in 2020 when the COVID.
Okay.
'Cause I'm in the car business. Okay? So I never missed a payment on my child support.
I understand, and the two problems are that has to do with the Department of Revenue that garnishes your wages, and then also it's an Osceola County case. I'm not a judge for that county, and I don't have access to any of that information, so I can't unfortunately help you. Your options are wait and go back to Osceola and explain it to them, and they may be able to help you, or post the $800 and go back to Osceola outside of custody and explain it to them as to why it's a mistake.
Correct. But I do have the money on my checking account, but I have to transfer the funds. I don't know how can I do that.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Is there any way you can at least reduce the amount of the,
I can't because it's another judge from another county.
If it were here in this county, I could consider it, but because it's in a different county, I don't have the jurisdiction, I don't have the legal ability to do it. If I did, I would consider it. I can't say that I would do it, but I would at least consider it. But because it's not here, I'm not allowed to.
Okay, my situation is I just started a new job recently, the beginning of the year, and today I was supposed to be at work. And then I don't know about tomorrow and the next day, because I work in the dealership, so.
Yeah.
I would be there first thing on Monday morning.
No, I understand, and I don't know if you can use one of your phone calls to get a hold of a family member who might be able to make those calls for you with regard to moving your money or calling your employer, but unfortunately, it's kind of outside of what I can help you with.
Okay, thank you, Dion.
I wish you the best of luck.
Okay, that's it, thank you.
Your Honor, my apologies. Before we move away from the out-of-counties, Taylor Jackson, can we go back to her?
Yeah, absolutely.
She refused her appearance.
Okay. All right, so Taylor Jackson, as a Polk County, can we temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender?
And I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, so, is that a fee? All right, so she has a bond. She has 2 counts, 250 as to count 1, 100 as to count 2. We'll stay those so that she can post and go back to Polk on her own, or they'll come transport her. If she hasn't posted and she's not transported within 72 hours, we'll bring her back to see a judge. All right, does that bring me to Bess? All right. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Good morning, sir. My name is Sharna Espes.
All right, good morning, Miss Bess. You were here on a violation of probation. A judge has signed off on your VOP and has requested that I hold you at no bond, so I am gonna hold you at no bond. I see that you filled out the request for a public defender. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed?
I had a public attorney, is Mr. Caleb, and that's where, like, I have no idea where this came from, because I just recently spoke with my probation officer, because I don't live in Orange County.
All right, so I can't get into the details of your case, and I don't want you to get into the details of your case. I'll just tell you that they filed an affidavit stating that you failed to comply with 2 conditions. 1, failing to report as directed, that back on November 28th, 2022, you were instructed to report to probation and failed to do so for an appointment on December 14th. And then the second condition is changing your residence without first procuring the consent of your probation officer. And that states that on or about December 8th, you did move from your last known address on Land Street Road in Orlando. And so that, there's a third one. Well, there's a few more conditions. I'm not gonna read all of them to you, but that's allegedly what's going on. Don't tell me yes, no, that you did or didn't. I don't want you to state anything that can be used against you. I just need to know if you wanted the services of the public defender to help represent you in this. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, we'll go ahead and appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you, Miss Bess. Best of luck to you, ma'am, okay? All right, good morning, Mr. Childs. All right, sir. State your name, please. All right, sir, you're also here on a violation of probation. A judge has signed off on a warrant for your arrest and hold you at no bond status. I am going to keep you on that no bond status. And then you have a second case. So let me get clear here. The VOP is in 2021 CF 5162AO. That you're going to be held on no bond for. And then you have another case, 2021 CF 13757AO. That one is a failure to appear, and that one you have a bond of $5,000. I'm going to leave the bond at $5,000 on the second case, but I'm also leaving your VOP at no bond, so you can't post or bond out on that case at this time. Do you wish? You filled out the form requesting a public defender. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed? Yes. And did you have one on the failure to appear case? Yes, already there. So you're going to have the Office of the Public Defender representing you on both cases. Okay, sir?
And Your Honor, on Mr. Combs, who's coming up here, I just received an email from our court team downstairs. The warrant was incorrectly made for a violation of probation. It should have been a violation of parole. He's not on probation. He's on conditional release right now. So they were asking, the violation of parole is pending. They're working on getting it served on him right now. If we could ROR the violation of probation, since he shouldn't
Technically
be
incorrect.
here. Yeah, he's not on probation.
Okay.
So they had just emailed me, so I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Okay, and is that for 2014 CF 13697?
Yes, yeah, they're working on the violation of parole, getting that served now, but the VOP, the violation of probation is incorrect. He's not on probation.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
William Rasheed Combs, sir.
All right, good morning, Mr. Combs. So there's a
Morning.
few things going on in your case that I'm going to talk to you about just to kind of bring you up to speed.
Yes, sir.
The violation of probation, as you may have heard her explain, is a mistake or an error at this time, but they are working on correcting it from a violation of probation to a violation of parole. So with regard to the violation of probation, I am going to ROR you or release you on your own recognizance with regard to the violation of probation, but anticipate that at some point in time they're going to serve you with the violation of parole.
Yes, sir.
You also have a second case that you're here before the court on, a new case. It's 2023 CF 526AO. And that's a charge of grand theft, more than $750, but less than $500. That already has a bond, so that has a bond of $2,500. With regard to that, sir, are you seeking, I see that you filled out the public defender form. Are you requesting that the public defender be appointed to represent you?
So, yes, sir.
All right, and then there is a third case here, 2023 CF 526, 2022 CF 14556, I just want to make sure I give you the right bonds for everything.
So, yes, sir.
There's another case that you have a bond in the amount of $750. So I'm going to leave your bond at $2,500 for the one. I'm going to leave your bond at $750 for the other, but know that once they serve you with the violation of parole, you're likely not going to be able to bond out.
Your Honor, with regard to 23 CF 526, if I could ask that there be a no return and also no contact with any co-defendants.
I appreciate that, Ms. Eugene, for letting me know. Sir, with regard to that case, you're not to have any contact with any co-defendants while the case is pending, and you're not to return to the incident location of that store or have any contact with any employees of that store. Do you understand?
So, yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Combs. Thank you, Ms. Eugene. Yes.
On the docket was there, debt. He's on behavior status right now.
Okay, let me wait for Ms. George so we can get a waiver and we'll go from there. Thank you. All right, Ms. George, we have Derek Dent is not appearing this morning due to behavior status. So I'm asking if we can temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender for his violation of probation.
Yes, Your Honor, and I will waive the appearance.
All right, thank you very much. This is a VOP with a no bond status. We're going to hold him on no bond until he goes back to see the judge assigned to that case. All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Hooks?
I am.
All right, sir, could you please state your name?
Rasheed Hooks.
All right, good morning, Mr. Hooks. You're here on a violation of probation. Judge Wooten signed your bond at a no bond status, so I'm going to hold you on no bond for Judge Wooten. Sir, do you wish to have, I don't see an affidavit for the public defender. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to represent you? All right, are you intending on representing yourself or hiring private counsel?
One attorney.
Okay, excellent, sir. Best of luck to you. Just get a hold of your private attorney as soon as you can so they can get started working for you.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Rivard?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, Mr. Rivard. Could you please state your full name?
Benjamin Paul Rivard Jr.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rivard Jr. All right, so you're here on a violation of community control. Judge Weiss signed off on your warrant to hold you on a no bond. So I'm going to keep your bond at the no bond status. Do you wish to have the Office of the Public Defender appointed to represent you, or are you seeking your own attorney?
I'm my own attorney, sir.
Your own attorney? All right, so just get a hold of your attorney as quickly as you can so they can get started working on you. You'll get information with regard to your next court date soon. All right. Same situation, Ms. George, is that what we do?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so at this time, I'll temporarily appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent Mr. Solis.
And I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
His appearance is waived for this morning's hearing. He's here on a violation of probation. It's a no bond, previously signed off on by Judge Blackman. We'll hold him on the no bond status until his next court date. Are you Mr. Junior? Yes, sir. Or I'm sorry, Mr. Vincent.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Vincent, you're also here on a violation of probation. Warrant was signed off on by Judge Barber to hold you on no bond status, so I'm going to keep you at a no bond. I see you filled out a form requesting the Office of the Public Defender to represent you. Do you wish to have them appointed at this time to start helping you?
Yes.
All right, sir, so we'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this case, and we'll get them working on that as soon as possible. All right, sir?
The phone number is there. They have someone else that's gonna be assigned.
All right, so we've wrapped that up. Ms. George, the only question I have for you is with regard to the plea, do I need to sign off on anything down the line with regard to assessing it as a lien?
That I don't.
She has it, okay. All right, sounds good. That's, oh, okay. All right, so they're just gonna start bringing these people in a few? Oh, okay. All right. All right, so are you guys ready to go on to the next?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so this is, I did these a long time ago as a state, but it feels like a lifetime ago. So y'all keep me honest, keep me on my toes, okay? All right, this is State versus McCall Anthony Abrams, 2022 CF 11337AO.
Denied and information was filed.
State versus Jerry Dorsonville, 2022 CF 14446AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
I'm sorry, you said, Miss Eugene, no intent on filing?
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Notice of non-filing, thank you. State of Florida versus Jeffrey Melwood Berry, 2022 CF 14410AO.
Denied, information was filed.
This is a different case number.
It should be a different number.
Yes, thank you. 2022 CF 014710 or 10AO. State
Denied,
versus
information
Jeff
was filed.
Thank you. State versus John Fortunato, 2022 CF 14484AO.
Your Honor, can you tell me the date on the order for release,
The
please?
33rd day would be January 15th.
No, Your Honor, the date would actually be January 16th, which is Monday.
Okay.
I don't know the wording of the order. Today is the 13th, it's not due until the 16th. Can you give me the wording of the order?
Sure. So I mean, I think it's premature either way, but, well, it could be denied. So this cause having come before the initial appearance judge of the above styled court in and for Orange County, Florida, upon defendant's motion for automatic release on own recognizance, and the court having been fully advised of the premises, it is hereby ordered and judged the defendant's motion for automatic release on own recognizance is hereby granted. The defendant may be released on their own recognizance if an information or indictment is not filed by the 33rd day. The 33rd day is, and I changed it to January 16th, 2023.
That can be granted, Your Honor.
Okay, so they'll check and they'll make sure it's not done. If it's not done by then, I've made the change and I've initialed the change.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so State versus Crystal Janae Hamilton, 2022 MM 8004 AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
State versus Anthony Scott King, 2022 CF 14404 AO.
Denied, information was filed.
State versus Deldante Jackson, 2022 CF 14489 AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
This one also has, of non-filing, okay, because this one has a 116 date. State versus Kevin David Barrow, 2022 CF 13964 AO.
Granted, case was no billed.
State versus Crystal Janae Hamilton, 2022 CF 12308 AO.
Denied, information was filed.
2022 CF 2022 CF 014373 AO, Sherry Ann DeVoe.
Again, Your Honor, can you tell me the date on the order?
This one has the 15th.
Again, it's the 16th. The defendant was arrested, both of these were arrested on the 14th.
So granted, pending it not being filed by the 16th.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. State versus Barry Donnell Kinsey, 2022 CF 014493 AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
State versus Billy James Ferris, 2022 CF 014403 AO.
Granted, case is no billed.
State of Florida versus Qualson Quinton Pierre, 2022 CF 014335 AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
State versus David A. Mays, 2022 CF 014400 AO.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
State versus Jerome Brown Wilkerson III, 2022 CF 014398 AO.
Denied, information was filed.
Now I have a different one. This is Marcellus Johnson, 2022 CF 14152.
Denied, information was filed.
All right, so sorry, this is doesn't give me the option for denied, so I've crossed out granted and then crossed out the ROR part.
Yeah, thank you. It's denied.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know what it's gonna look like, okay?
Thank you.
So I've crossed out granted, I've written in denied, and I've lined through the ROR.
Thank you.
All right, so then this one is State versus Vaughn Bernard Hunt, 2022 MM 8290.
Denied, information was filed.
All right.
Need to check it.
You know if it's the info that it's denied. Seven.
Is there anything else from either side before I go ahead and go off the record and turn this off?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Thank you, ladies. What time? Can you tell me?
MM 2166.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sir. And what's the other case, counsel?
The other case is both the same charge, is misdemeanor as well, violation of pretrial release. The one that he has not been arrested is 22 MM 2288. The one that he was arrested yesterday during an injunction hearing was 2022 MM 2666. The injunction hearing was dismissed, and the case related to the pretrial release was also with no information. But the allegations occurred before there was a no info file.
All right, so the no info was filed in what case?
Sure. So he was actually, sorry.
Is this the case where I read the gentleman brought some food into a business?
That is the case, Your Honor.
Okay.
And that case was originated from a battery by strangulation case that got dismissed. There was no information that was filed.
That was 22 CF 2350.
So how did 2166 arise out of 2350? The numbers,
Before the no info was filed.
but the no info is in 2350, which means it was filed after 2166. That doesn't make sense to me.
Your Honor, it seems like he went to I-8 Are you asking the order of the
Hold on,
numbers, Your Honor?
I'm trying to figure out the dates of the charges.
Okay.
So he was arrested in August 14th for the felony case, 22 CF 2350.
Oh, it was a felony
It was a
case.
felony, yes, Judge.
That is going to possibly explain it. And then the alleged violation of pretrial release condition in 22 MM 2166 occurred on what date?
September 22nd?
Okay. And then this 2288 case that Mr. Quinones has told us about, what was the date of that alleged offense?
October 8th. So a few days before we no infoed the felony, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so Mr. Ramirez, for today's purposes, you're here before me on 22 MM 2166. You were charged or arrested on the charge of violation of a pretrial release condition and domestic violence case. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. You're entitled to be represented by an attorney, and it looks like you've hired a lawyer. So I've taken care of informing you of what I'm required to inform you about. And Mr. Quinones, what are you asking me to do today? I've got a set condition for release in this case.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the state would agree to recommend a $500 bond, and we would respectfully ask if it could be set for a $500 bond on that case. With no contact, obviously, with the...
And so an injunction case was dismissed yesterday. The state has filed a non-information filing in the felony case, but we're still asking for no contact on these charges while they're pending. Am I getting that correctly?
You are getting that. Yes, Your Honor. We have filed an information in one of the misdemeanor cases, the one we're here on today as well. We filed it earlier this month.
Okay. Now, what's the state's position about addressing 22 MM 2288 today? He's not been arrested on that charge. I don't know. Has anything even been filed in that case?
I did speak to the clerk about it. We have not filed an information in it, Your Honor, but I did speak to the clerk about it, and I believe she called the jail. She might have some more information about why he hasn't been arrested on 20.
The jail informed me that he got served with the warrant, but it's not going to be heard in I-8 because it's a condition of pretrial release. I mean, a violation of pretrial
they said conditions of release violations don't go to ICE. And I told them, are you sure? Would you like for me to address it to the judge? I can come up with an order. They said not to worry about it. But it was served.
It was served, it says, well, no. That's just when the warrant was filed, okay.
If I may be heard, Your Honor.
Sure.
Our position is basically we would, I guess, waive whatever defects so it can be heard today and possibly get another $500 bond on that case.
All right. Ms. Lewis, is there any reason I shouldn't set a bond on the 2288 case?
Judge, I believe they have to be set at initial appearance. We are here for initial appearance on one of the cases. I don't know why he has not been arrested on the warrant for 2288.
It's been served, and he's entitled to be at initial appearance within 24 hours, so I don't
So if the
understand.
court wants to, I don't know, maybe add it on as initial appearance today, that would be fine with the state.
The jail just said, because I asked them why are we not allowed to have this, it said that if the attorney wants bond on that case, they have to file a motion.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand. That makes no sense to me. All right, so it sounds like somebody has decided to take control of the rules of criminal procedure and impose some new requirements that it's a misdemeanor and he's entitled to bond. You can't hold someone without a bond waiting for an attorney to file a motion. I mean, that's patently unconstitutional. So I don't know who's doing what, but you can't do that. So we're going to add 22 MM 2288 to today's first appearances, okay? Bond will be $500 on each case. No contact with the alleged victim. Sir, I think you probably know this, but that means you can't be within 500 feet of where she is known to live or work.
Yes, sir.
You can't contact her through another person, through writing, through social media, text message, no shape, form, or fashion, okay?
Yes, sir.
No possession of any weapons or firearms while the case is pending or cases are pending. Maintain a separate residence, which I assume is not a problem. Anything further, Mr. Quinones?
No further from the defense.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Take care. Have a great weekend. All right, folks at the jail, we're here for first appearances. I'm going to be advising you why you're arrested. That you're entitled to be represented by a lawyer. I'm provisionally appointing the public defender to represent all of you unless you are already represented by a private lawyer. If you've hired private counsel, let me know so that we can make sure the paperwork reflects that the public defender is not provisionally appointed to represent you. We'll be talking about whether you're entitled to a bond, and if so, the amount and the conditions. Other than those things, we won't be talking about any facts of your case or any other issues in your case, all right? And in case you're interested, my name is Tom Young. I'm a circuit judge in the 9th Judicial Circuit conducting today's first appearances. All right, so next up on the docket, we have Jorge Criado Gregory. This is a Polk County case. Number appears to be 22 CT 4210. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Criallo, you were arrested on a warrant out of Polk County. It looks like you have bail amount of $500. Okay. If you don't post bond, you will be transported to Polk County, at which time the court over there will talk to you about release and appointment of counsel. But if you want a court-appointed lawyer, you'll have to talk to the judge over there, okay? All right, thank you, sir. Reynaldo Ayala Quinones, 22 MM 2302. Are you Mr. Ayala Quinones? All right, sir, you were arrested on a warrant issued by Judge Epperson for failure to appear. Judge Epperson set a bond for you in the amount of $1,000. Okay. Is there anything else, Mr. Watson, we need to address?
No, as far as I'm aware, Your Honor.
All right, anything, State?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ayala. Next case, 21 MM 1548. This will be William Michael Goodhue. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Goodhue?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation issued by Judge Epperson. He did not set a bond for you, so you'll have to have your attorney file a bond motion if you want to seek a bond. Is there a next court date for Mr. Goodhue?
BOP arraignment, January 26, 8:05 a.m., courtroom 4A.
All right, so January 26th is your next court date with Judge Epperson, okay? Thank you, sir. Indy Gutierrez, 23 CF 117.
Your Honor, Mr. Gutierrez bonded out.
Yes.
All right. Heather Renee Hudson, 22 CF 2041.
Your Honor, Ms. Hudson is in the hospital currently.
Okay. You want to waive her appearance?
Unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I can waive her appearance because I haven't spoken to her.
Okay. Well, she was arrested on a bond, on a warrant, and she does have a bond. All right. We'll reset that for what? When she's out of the hospital? What are you doing? Resetting it for the weekend? Resetting it for Monday? Okay. But how do we know when she's available?
The jail would add her to IVs.
All right. So reset when she is in the jail population. How's
Based
that?
off experience.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Next case, 22 CT 1791. And this is Stevenson Neptune. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Neptune?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. You were arrested on a warrant. Was issued out of Judge Sanders Morenzi's courtroom. I'm not sure who signed for her. In any event, it's a violation of probation warrant, and you do not have a bond on that case. Is there a next court date for Mr. Neptune?
Yes, Your Honor. BOP arraignment, January 26, 8:05 a.m., courtroom 4A.
All right, so the 26th is your next court date, sir. Okay?
Your Honor, Mr. Neptune asked if I could just put on the record that he would request a reasonable bond be set because he is his sole caretaker for his household. He's the sole employee, and he would like to maintain employment.
This is a violation of probation, and there was no bond set. So that is something counsel will have to take up with the division judge.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Judge Sanders Morenzi will be back to work, I believe, Tuesday. She's back. Okay. Next case would be 22 CF 1778, Ernie Santiago Rodriguez. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Santiago?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir. You were arrested, sir, on a violation of probation warrant issued by Judge Karsten. You do not have a bond in that case, sir. Is there a next court date?
Yes, Your Honor. VOP arraignment, January 18th, 8:30 a.m., courtroom 4F.
All right. All right, thanks, sir. That's all.
Your Honor, we couldn't hear the court date. If you could just repeat it.
What was the court date again?
It was January 18th, 8:30 a.m.
So next Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes. All right, the next case, Anthony James Cyphers, 23 CF 121.
Your Honor, could we do Mr. Cypher's last? Could we come back to him at the end of the docket? He's currently in lockup, Your Honor. We'd have to get him out. If we could just do him last, that'd be great.
All right, well, we usually do them in the order they're in. Is there a reason they can't bring him up?
We can, Your Honor, if you want. It'll take a little bit.
Madam Clerk, do you mind taking it out of order?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll take it out of order. I just want to make it easy for Madam Clerk
Thank you,
because
Your Honor.
it's,
I would also want to make it easier for Madam Clerk, so thank you.
yeah, all right. So I get the practicality. So Mr. Shatney, 23 CF 127. Arnold Shatney. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Shatney? All right, Mr. Shatney. You were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked. There is probable cause for that charge. Unfortunately, you were out on bond in a case with the exact same charge. So I have to revoke your, well, I don't have to, but I'm going to revoke your bond in that case, 22 CF 1982. I will set bond in the new case at $1,000. You can't drive if you don't have a license. I'm not going to make that a condition because you're just going to be rearrested for a new crime if you do that. So please, for your own sake, don't do that. Okay? Mr. Watson, is there anything further we need to address on Mr. Shatney's case?
1 second.
Your Honor, you're revoking the case he's on bond
Nin-
and setting at 0?
1982, yes. Setting it at 0, pretrial detention per the statute.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Stephen Spoto, 23 MM121.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Spoto is in medical currently. I've been instructed by the director of mental health at the jail, Your Honor, that she has requested that he be ROR'd and sent directly to Park Place, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I am not able to waive his appearance because I've been unable to speak to Mr. Spoto.
All right, well, I'm not going to do that because I can't order him committed someplace without the appropriate procedures being implemented. And if ROR is being requested, so in connection with that, I can't do that, and you're not waiving his appearance. So we'll reset him for the weekend. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, 23 CF 129, John Uberti. Sir, how do you pronounce your last name?
Uberti.
Uberti, okay. Mr. Uberti, you were arrested on charges of misdemeanor battery, domestic violence, kidnapping or false imprisonment, a third-degree felony, domestic battery by strangulation, a third-degree felony, and resisting arrest without violence. There is probable cause for your arrests on those charges. I need to set bond. You're entitled to bond on all 4 charges, but you currently have bond only on count 4. Does the state wish to be heard on bond amounts?
State would request that pretrial release relay any prior criminal history.
Officer Jenkins, is there any prior criminal history that you know of?
2013 robbery, sudden snatch, battery, and then out of North Carolina, 2010 simple assault, 2012 assault on female, 2020 assault on female.
All right. Mr. Watson, you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I would just request a reasonable bond be set for all counts. And additionally, Your Honor, I would just say that the false imprisonment and kidnapping is based on the same action, Your Honor. I would just ask for perhaps a lower bond be set on one of those since it is based on the same action, Your Honor.
It's just one count. It's
kidnapping, false imprisonment, Your Honor.
right.
I got the charging.
Right. Yeah, no, there are only 4 counts: battery, false imprisonment, domestic battery by strangulation, resisting arrest without violence.
In that case, Your Honor, we would just ask for a reasonable bond be set for all counts.
All right. All right, so Mr. Uberti, I'm going to set your relatively low bonds, but some other conditions that if you violate any of those conditions, you'll be back in jail without a bond. So on count 1, battery, touch, or strike, I'm going to set that at $1,000. On count 2, false imprisonment, that's going to be $3,500. Count 3, domestic battery by strangulation, that's going to be $3,500. Count 4 is $500. So that's $8,500 total. You may not have contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence. You'll be allowed one-time return with law enforcement escort, in other words, to obtain personal belongings. You may not possess any weapons or firearms while you are subject to this case. Okay? And I think I said no contact, but I'll say it again in case I didn't. All right, anything further that the state would request?
No, Judge.
Mr. Watson, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, just one clarification. Mr. Uberti has told me that his wife lives in Key West and that he lives in the house that is up in Osceola County. He's just asked to be clear, as long as his wife is not living in that residence, if you put on the record, he's allowed to live in the residence. Is that correct?
So I don't know whether she lives in this residence here in Osceola County or not, so he cannot live there until the division judge addresses it. The parties state needs to have time to speak to the alleged victim, and the division judge will need the opportunity to take any evidence. So he cannot return to that residence except one time with law enforcement until the division judge orders otherwise.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, Sebastian Richard Smith, 22 CF 1870.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Smith refused.
All right, he'll be reset for tomorrow. No, this was a reset.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I find that he has refused and has waived his appearance at first appearance. He was arrested on a violation of probation warrant, and there is no bond. All right, that brings us to Mr. Cyphers,
Yes, Your Honor.
23 CF 121.
And I would waive the reading of his charges, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Cyphers just made me aware that he does have a private attorney who he has contacted for this charge. However, they only just arrested him. He hasn't made his private attorney aware. I'm going to step away from the podium, Your Honor, because he is represented.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cyphers, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right. And who is your attorney?
Attorney Chad Seibel of Don Wagner.
Right. I know Mr. Seibel. All right, so you have the right to be represented by a lawyer. We're going to show the paperwork that you don't have a public defender appointed. If for some reason you end up not hiring Mr. Seibel and you want a public defender, fill out the required affidavit. If you qualify, the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were arrested on 19 different charges, they're each third-degree felonies. The public defender did not, or asked me not to announce those charges. Are you okay with that, or do you want me to announce them?
I'm okay, sir.
You understand what they are?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there is probable cause. A judge reviewed the arrest warrant and found probable cause. I've also reviewed it and agree that there is probable cause. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 for each count, so that's a total bond of $19,000, okay? And you must register as required by law within 24 hours of your release, okay? And then at any other interval, you're required to report. All right, State, would you be requesting any other conditions?
No, Your Honor, I would just point out that he's also in custody on a violation of probation.
All right, that I know nothing about. Has he had a first? Have you had a first appearance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was at the beginning of November.
Okay, all right, so good deal. So you're aware of all that then. All right, any questions, Mr. Cyphers?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, I believe that concludes our docket. Mr. Watson, is there anything else we need to address? All right, Officer Jenkins, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you all, and have a terrific long holiday weekend.
Okay, you do the same.
You too, Your Honor.
We'll be adjourned.